I'm gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight. When this...
You guys are a little off.
No idea.
Isn't my motto's always been?
My motto's always been when it's right, it's right.
I only know the first couple lyrics.
My motto's always been...
It's funny how every song you just kind of mumble a few words, and like when you're actually singing when it's playing.
Yeah, you don't realize how much of the words you actually don't know.
Then when you try and sing it off by heart, it's.
Have you ever seen that app where you use headphones, and then it plays the song through the app, and then it records you singing, so you sing along to it, but it just records your voice.
That would sound horrible.
And then you can play it back over. And
what is that,
listen
TikTok?
To yourself. No, it's like some recording app. So the song plays in the headphones, so then you just sing along like you would in your car, but it records your voice, and then you can just play back your voice.
See how horrible you sound.
Absolutely
Oh,
terrible.
that'd be brutal.
That's funny.
That
would be funny to hear all the mumbles too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you're saying the words super clear, but you're not even pronouncing the word.
You find out real quick that your singing career is not going anywhere.
Or how in a song where they at the end of each verse or sentence they'll double up the last word.
Yeah.
So I find I do that if it's a song I don't know. I'll be right at the end of the verse, be like, yeah, or sandwich.
Just make up a word. Oh, jeez. All right. So how you guys doing with all this COVID-19 shit going on? You guys getting by?
Oh, getting right into it.
Getting right into it.
Get right into it.
Why not?
Yeah, it's been tough. Definitely different with work. Sure, everyone else can agree to that. There's definitely a lot of things that have changed. Working from home, it's a big challenge. Just trying to be as efficient as you are in the office, and
Probably not even half.
yeah, and that's the thing is, with my job, it's a lot of teamwork and communication. So just trying to have that level of communication is and effective communication is a little tough. Whereas in the office, if you had a question, you go to someone's office and ask them a question. Whereas now it's you email them, you could get a response in a couple hours, could be tomorrow, you never know. So, but it's I've been fortunate enough to continue working. I know there's a lot of people that have been laid off in these times, but so can't complain too much.
Yeah, there you go. I think it'll be weird going back to normal. It's gonna be so weird, just people interacting with each other. It's gonna be a long process. I think. I don't know.
For sure.
Or I feel like it's either that way or people are waiting for it to go back to normal. They just want to break out of this shell that they're living in. And
people are on edge, even when you go to the grocery store, and it's some grocery stores you can only walk one way down the aisle, but other grocery stores that don't have that, it's people see each other at the end of the aisle, and one person will go a different aisle and wait. And,
which way are you gonna go?
Or I find when I pass somebody now, if I pass somebody in the hallway to my apartment, I'll hold my breath.
I was doing that on the bike ride today. I was I'm going by people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different times.
Strange. I don't know if we can ever come back from this. I don't know.
It's gonna be a while.
It may never go back to how it's for sure never going back to the way things exactly were. Just you got to think everybody's gonna be more aware of it now.
I think some of those little things are definitely gonna stick around.
Yeah, even just watching movies and people, I'm what are you doing, people? You're all touching each other's shit, and
I think all the shields
staying up
for a long time.
Yeah,
all this
definitely with the food industry and stuff.
Well, they don't really have a reason to take him down.
No, they don't.
It's all paid for already. Might as well keep it up.
To be honest, I kind of like the directional thing in the grocery store. Sometimes it gives you a little more time. You don't got people bumping into you all over the place.
Save On doesn't have that. People are just running.
Yeah, Save On Superstore. It's actually gone. I was grocery shopping at Superstore, and it was an absolute shit show. And then there's a few things you couldn't get, so I went to Co-op, and it was paradise in there.
Really?
It was
arrows.
They had someone at the front. If you want a cart, they cleaned it for you, and they gave you the cart. Sweet. And they have people regulating how many people go in. Whereas Superstore in place, they said they have that, but it's just one person at the front with a clicker. No one's counting how many people are coming up, and then there's a sign that says wait for someone to come out before you go in, but no one reads it.
Yeah, I find funny too. Like the first time I went to Costco, I like waited in line outside for 5 minutes, walk in the store, and they made you like wipe down your cart with like a little sanitizer wipe, but you didn't have to like wash your hands or anything. So you like grab the dirty cart, sanitize the cart, and then your dirty hands touch your cart. It's like back to where you were before. And you're like, are you just doing this to please people? Like, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
There's this guy kind of doing it to like make it look like they're doing something, which makes like I think that makes people feel better.
Yeah, feel better.
You got to have that image too.
Yeah.
Whereas if there's a store that wasn't doing anything,
it just looks bad.
Yeah.
I think it also goes to like, I think for a lot of people, it's in their heads that, or not even in their heads. It's like if it's out of sight, then it's out of mind. Like if you can't see it, it can't hurt you.
Yeah, people wearing gloves think they're fine, even though they're touching shit with their gloves.
Touching
their face.
They go right to touch their mask with their gloves.
It's working at like a food industry. The whole glove thing is just like absolutely ridiculous. Because people think wearing gloves are invincible.
Yeah.
So I put on gloves and I have to I can just do anything.
Yeah, then you just touch your face and then
they're like, like we always get it. Like, well, why don't you guys wear gloves? Well, we wash our hands. Like, well, you should still wear gloves. I'm like, washing your hands is better than wearing gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're doing it regularly, right?
Yeah.
If you're not gonna wash your hands all day.
Yeah, like it's mandated.
Then gloves, no gloves, you're still just an idiot.
Yeah, but if you are diligent about washing your hands, it's better than wearing gloves. Because I was at Superstore, lady has gloves on. And she's like ringing groceries through, whatever, grabs her phone with her gloves on, touches her phone, grabs her water bottle with her gloves. It's like, well, anything the whole point of using the gloves, you just threw it all out the window.
Yeah. And it's all that little shit you don't think about too, like your phone.
Yeah.
How often do you wash your phone?
Yeah, the phone's
Things
a big
filthy.
one. Your wallet, like your car keys, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it for sure I think the whole situation puts like everything into perspective. Like you're almost analyzing everything to the point where you're like let's say you go into a grocery store and you look at a box of something or a piece of fruit. It's like, man, how many people have had their hands on this?
Yeah.
Like I know, like when I haul groceries for my dad, and I have to like hand bomb something off, and there's an open thing of oranges, and I happen to be sick and I cough or whatever. Like I just happen to cough on those oranges. But
that's the whole point of having like an immune system, though. I feel like if we like take stuff too serious and we like don't let our bodies like fight stuff on their own, then it's just gonna like just blow out of proportion.
Well, that's the problem with like everyone washing their hands all the time. Lysol wipes, everything's so disinfected. Yeah. As soon as you stop doing that, you're just gonna have your body. You're not gonna know what to do with all the bacteria.
Yeah. So I think like if we take it too far, it could almost be like a negative. Because our bodies will just get used to like not having to fight stuff off.
Well, that's what they were like wanting us to do when this first all kind of came out, was like build that group immunity, right?
Yeah, the herd immunity,
the herd immunity, exactly. But not really applicable right now.
Yeah, and everyone panicked. All the countries panicked and backed out of it right away.
Yeah.
Except for like Sweden. They like kind of tried it, and I think they're in the best position.
You hear the mixed reports. They're the best, and then you hear it's catching up to them, and they're almost the worst. And who do you believe these days? That's the hardest part of all this too. Is like you read all this crap. What do you really believe?
Yeah. Even with all the testing, or with like all the cases, like how do you really know? Like some places aren't testing as much as other places, so you really don't have a equal scale of how everything's which place is worse than others.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I was talking with Yuki last week, where they have a test to see if you have it. They don't have a test to see if you've had it.
Yeah.
The antibody test.
Yeah. So they don't know.
Because you don't show symptoms, or like some people don't show symptoms.
So I mean, there's a huge wrench in their plan in showing how many people have been affected, right?
Well, they're saying like 400,000 people in California have had it, but they only, what do they say, has had it like 40,000?
That's crazy.
Just because like so many people are so mild symptoms.
Yeah,
you don't even know.
Mild symptoms, you just don't go to the doctor because 14 days I'll be okay, right? Like what do I need to know?
Well, even like, I mean, all of us could have it right now. Not even know it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We're like perfect candidates to like not show symptoms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Young, good health.
Yeah.
A lot of it's blood type too. If you're an O blood type, apparently you're not going to show symptoms as frequently or allegedly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
Allegedly, all this stuff. Yeah. It makes sense, right? Totally makes sense, but how do you really believe it? Because somebody else comes out with something that says the opposite.
That changes every day.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's during allergy season too, so every Tom, Dick, and Harry probably thinks they have coronavirus right now.
Yeah, totally.
That's the funny thing. Like going grocery shopping now, it's like
you gotta tickle.
don't cough.
Hold your sneeze in.
Yeah.
People hold you at gunpoint if you cough.
I did that at the bike shop today, waiting in line. I had a sneeze, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." I'm gonna blow an eyeball out trying to hold this sneeze.
Crack a rib.
Oh, jeez.
What do you guys think about like because Cooper Webb and Osborne and those guys were sick at January? You think guys like that have had it already too, and it's gone through
that's
the
the
racing
talk.
community and stuff like that?
That's what's been brought up. Like this thing could have been started in November.
Well,
like,
the first cases were in like November, right?
They don't know. Like they said it could have been. They say it could have been November. They don't know.
Well, yeah, they say October, even November. They've traced it back to. Again, what do you believe? But
yeah,
how do you trace that back to that? Like how? I don't know.
It's just the whole thing's like such a shit show.
But yeah, Chris, I mean, to bring back your point, I mean, those guys they're exposed to a lot of people at a race.
Yeah,
right?
doing autographs.
Yeah.
And all
Just
that kind
shaking
of
a
stuff.
lot of hands.
So I mean, it does make sense that I mean, with that, I mean, how many fans are at these races? There's like
50,000.
50,000 plus.
You're probably shaking.
And you
call
think
it 30,
2,000.
right? 30,000 still.
Yeah.
a lot
You're
of
shaking
people.
2,000 hands. I don't know how many people get in an
Where
autograph
was the
lineup.
last race? Daytona,
Daytona.
Florida, the worst
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
And do you think like they're all diligent enough to like sanitize their hands before they touch their faces?
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
weren't thinking
or put
about
on
that.
their gloves or
Well, I
something.
mean,
Yeah.
you see most of them wear like their
Motor
Fox or
gloves,
flag
yeah.
gloves or whatever, right? But again, they
Yeah,
go
so
from
your
that
face-
to
Yeah.
touching something else to
Yeah,
touching
it's-
Well,
their
yeah,
leg,
and
you
then,
know.
I mean, they're holding their gloves, shaking people's hands, signing with a pen, touching each poster. It's, I think it's a good way of transmitting it all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you shake someone that has it, shake someone's hand that has it, you go touch another poster, give it to some little kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Touch
exactly.
your pen.
Yeah.
Who really knows?
So what's the deal with Supercross? Did it just
apparently-
get delayed again?
Apparently, they originally they said May 15th or something.
I think it's May 31st
Now,
now.
no, originally they said May 15th. Now they're like, oh, okay, May 31st, because apparently the Arizona governor said that. I mean, I'm still really skeptical they'll be able to do it, but maybe. Like, it seems like in the States they're far looser with this stuff than we are in Canada. Like, in Canada they said, the 15 person deal, whatever that is going to stay in effect all summer in Alberta. So
Yeah.
but they already got tracks open and stuff in the States, so who knows?
Yeah, I just saw Fox Raceway just opened.
Yeah, they're all open, I think, now.
I think for the event thing, like the way I see it is I think they're at a point where they have to race, because if they don't, a lot of people are going to be fucked for next year.
For the Supercross.
Like teams will lose a lot of money, like Feld will lose money, like if they don't, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is I just don't think the government really cares about those guys, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, no.
So it's kind of they're
It's
kind
like
of
you're signing your life away. You're signing your life away
Yeah.
basically by
But
Yeah,
that's why they're trying the best they can to figure it out. Like probably same deal with every other
I mean, they're
franchise.
they're at the mercy of the government, which kind of sucks too.
Yeah.
That's almost the most worrying thing about all this is
Yeah.
everybody's at the mercy of the government a little bit.
It's
And
kind of crazy how much they've taken over.
throughout
Yeah.
history, once the government gets a little bit of control, they have
Yeah.
a hard time letting go of
Then-
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
then you have
I don't think we're
socialists.
in that situation right now, but it's scary to think about a
Yeah.
little bit of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Especially good old Justin and all his interesting
Antics.
stuff. He's
Yeah.
quite the guy.
Well,
Yeah.
have you guys seen like all the conspiracy theories coming out on, like just coming out of the woodworks lately with all this shit? Like,
Yeah, I just seen something pop up today on my newsfeed or something talking about, I think it was from Washington Post or something, talking about how this coronavirus is like the biggest government hoax or something.
Right. I heard that out of this like Russian tow truck driver we've got. He was back when this all started. What was it? Early January, something when it kind of was really kind of kicking
Yeah.
off. He was, oh yeah, the Russian radio stations are saying it's all a big hoax to crash the market and do this, like
Yeah.
even way back then. So to have that narrative stick around is.
I just read some Japanese scientists who I think he has a Nobel Prize came out and said some statement that is all like it's man-made by China, and it's all like China's got this whole master plan behind coronavirus. And he says, if I'm proven wrong now or 50 years after I die, take away my Nobel Prize. That's how convinced he is that it's
There's a lot
that
of
it was
like
made by China.
there's a lot of new stuff coming out about that, like that lab in Wuhan or whatever.
Yeah.
That it's looking more and more likely that it came out of that lab.
Well, they said like most like all these diseases that are come like naturally are change with the seasons depending on temperature, whereas this one hasn't. The temperatures had zero effect on its like potency and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like this Japanese scientist like biggest thing. He's like, if it was natural, he's like, it would not affect somewhere that's like plus 30 the same as would affect somewhere that's like minus 10, which it has.
That's kind of what everyone said too before it came to Canada. Oh, it won't survive here. The climate's way different. Can't survive in this dry and this cold. Came over and now it's thriving.
Yeah. Yeah. The driest place.
Yeah.
Like Alberta's, what, we're third worst province?
Behind Ontario and Quebec.
Quebec is bad.
Quebec has like over half or like 3/4 of the cases or something.
We had a lot from that Cargill incident though.
Oh yeah, we had like I think I saw like 800 people.
It's like over 1,000 now.
Oh really?
Well, between Cargill and the one in Brooks.
Oh right.
JBS.
And then that affecting their spouses or whatever.
Yeah. Think about.
Well, we got shut down because of Cargill at Copper Pond.
Oh, you got shut down
for a day.
Oh, for a day.
Yeah, shit. One of our employees, her husband worked at Cargill.
Oh shit.
Oh man, you see that's like, you gotta think if they go and test specifically at like a certain location, and that many cases pop up, there's got to be like
it's got to be everywhere.
Yeah. Well, they said like they tested at a prison, one of the prisons in the States, and they had like can't remember how many cases, but like 85% of them were not asymptomatic. So.
Oh wow.
They were
asymptomatic.
They were asymptomatic, but which is crazy because then anyone could have it.
Yeah.
And you're just transmitting it to.
That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. All these numbers you see, it's you don't really know.
I think the tricky thing too is they don't the Alberta numbers that come out, like say they've had like 4,000 or whatever cases current, they don't take off the ones that have recovered.
Yeah.
So I think that's
just total cases.
It's total cases, but it's like not cases like at the current time, which I think is kind of deceiving.
That's
as well.
true.
Yeah, well, and what's going to happen when people start getting tested twice and positive twice? Is that just going to inflate the number even more?
Yeah, and I think I think too, like what happened in China is like we're going to get a second wind of it. We're going to like open back up, and I think it's going to get like another wind coming too.
Yeah.
Well, how contagious are you if like have they said how contagious you are if you've recovered?
That's a thing. I don't know if they even know. Like in theory, if it's like
after 2 weeks, you
should like a common flu. Once you like get it and your body builds the antibodies, you shouldn't be able to spread it, and you should be able to get it again until it mutates.
Yeah, but apparently they have been getting it again in like South Korea and China, with no symptoms though.
So they like had symptoms before, and then recovered, and then got it again and didn't show any symptoms.
It could be like something like herpes that
just stays
flares.
dormant.
It just flares up every once in a while. Who knows? Like we don't know. Yeah.
Well, and isn't that kind of what's like killing some of these people? Is it's like they're recovering from certain things, and then they'll have kidney failure or heart failure afterwards. It's like it's not just a respiratory thing.
More long-term effects.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be a gong show for a while. Like it sucks. It's gonna be like I don't know. It could be years.
Yeah, well, like even if you are healthy and you do get it and you don't show symptoms, but I still feel like it should like deplete your system no different than a flu would.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. You're gonna have some effect on you. Yeah. And that's what like a lot of these races are saying. I can't remember. I think I was talking to Michael Lindsay when I bought those mounts. He was saying a lot of these guys are really worried because they don't really know the long-term effects it'll have on your cardio system. Like if these guys are elite athletes and they're gonna go race Supercross, they don't want to be riding or running themselves down to the point where they can get it, and then who knows what happens when they recover, or how long that process will take to get their respiratory system back up to full strength. Like could have long-term effects they don't even know.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of them down there don't really care.
Yeah, though when we were down there, it was like.
But even right now, they're all like I see Phil's like with all his buddies and like all those guys. They're all hanging out.
I think that's the common theme. Some people are like wearing like their dishwashing gloves in their car and masks, and then there's other people that are just like lives haven't changed one bit.
And they're just like protesting now and stuff.
Well, they're like protesting to go back to work in the States.
It's hard though, because like, I mean, I'm still getting to work, so
me too.
You know, I'm lucky in that situation, but I couldn't imagine being stuck at home.
No,
that was with nothing to do, especially you can't go out. You
Tell
can't.
me about it. My girlfriend's driving me crazy.
Yeah, like the 14-day quarantine we had to do when we got back, that was rough. It was like,
especially for active people.
Oh yeah, like at least I'm lucky enough. I have a gym and I can come down here and ride my spin bike, or I can go lift weights or whatever. But like, could you imagine like you living in an apartment?
Yeah, well, I think it's just hard on your mentality having somebody say that you
can't do something.
Like it's the whole, like everybody's beginning to think that their rights have been stripped from them when realistically they haven't. But like it's easy for them to think that way.
Yeah.
When somebody's saying no, like you can't do this, like you have to abide by the rules. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think happens with like they're saying outdoors starts? I think I heard on the Pulp Show last night. It was like they were talking about running Supercross in the beginning of June, and then they're gonna start outdoors mid-July, late July.
Like, Keelan and I were talking about that on our little bike ride earlier. I have a hard time believing it's gonna happen.
They can't do it without spectators.
Well, it's like I guess there's like quite a bit of TV money in Supercross because of Fox Sports.
Supercross, yes.
So Supercross will make sense for no fans because they can still get TV money. But like outdoors, it's all fan money.
The tracks can't put their events on without.
So like, how do you put like Washougal? When I was there was there like 50,000 people in Washougal?
Yeah, it's huge there.
Like, how do you do that with that many people?
They're gonna lose so much money. Like that's where all their money comes.
Like say even if Keelan and I were saying, so they made everyone like, because in theory in the outdoor, like you have the room for like, say like everyone has to have like
6 feet
in between them.
You're gonna let.
But how do you enforce that? And then Keelan was saying, how do you like sanitize everything? Like I just don't see it happening.
I don't see them letting it happen. Like especially in Canada where we're a little more reserved. We're like,
in Canada's not happening at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the news.
It's going to be a severely short series.
Well, like, and I was saying too, like, if Jetworks is already hurting for cash, how do they plan on doing races with no fans? And there's no TV money in Canada.
No,
so it's all fan revenue.
So how does it work in Canada? It works so the promoter Jetworks would lease the track and they get all the gate fees, right?
Yeah, that's how that works in Calgary.
But they can't afford to pay the the track if they have no gate fees.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's just it. You now have to cover the track's cost for building a facility.
Well, they can't even race in Calgary till September.
Well, no. The West Coast is. I think the West Coast is toast because Alberta said
Quebec too, though. Quebec's like September now too.
Yeah, so
I think they'll have a window to run into September, but it'll be like scraping the bottom of the barrel because by that time, if school's reopened, everybody's going back to school and nobody's gonna.
Tough. Yeah,
but it's
like a lot of amateur racers might not show up, but that's where a lot of their revenue comes from.
Yeah, amateur day.
Yeah,
but like I was saying to you, Riley, like if they don't run, like they're gonna be in trouble. And same thing in the States. Like if they don't run, like a lot of those teams, the promoters, the tracks, like, and everybody in the industry is gonna be like struggling. Like if there's not some sort of effort for it to happen, it's gonna be like a dry year next year.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, imagine how tough it is for a guy like me and you to go racing every year to scrape up the cash to go racing,
or just to get sponsors to scrape up to give you. If they're made no money this year, they're not gonna be doling out stuff next year.
Good luck getting bikes next year.
Yeah,
it'll be tough. But like you said about September with school, it's not really like. People are still in school in June. They run the whole West Coast in June, so I think that they possibly could. I don't know.
It's really tough to say because like it depends when school reopens, and I think it'll depend on people's mentalities. Come that time, like
I just think like the biggest thing is they make all their money from fans. So until they get the okay from the local governments to be able to have fans, I think it's basically comes down to the mercy of that because. I mean, they can't run out Canadian National with no fans.
Yeah. And then Ontario, like Ontario and Quebec are worse than here, and I can't see they're probably going to do the same thing when say 15 people max for until
at least September
the whole summer, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more doable in the States where I don't know, they seem a little
Seems like
more
each
relaxed,
more state has a little more freedom.
Yeah, but the way I see it happening in the States, if it does happen at all, is they'll put a cap on the amount of people they'll let come to the race, and kind of like how you and I were talking, is they'll maybe have like it's so crazy to think about, but like they'll maybe have it where it's like they'll have designated sections where you can watch and where you have to stand or whatever, but maybe they'll put a cap saying you can only have 2,000 people show up to the race and you got to pay a huge gate fee to come.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about Supercross. Like, what was I saying that about? I don't know. I was saying
every
about
like
something.
third seat or something.
Or I was saying that about the Stampede when they heard the Stampede got canceled.
Yeah.
Just let 15 people in and let them pay 10 grand a pop to go in.
Yeah.
I know the crazy thing too about that is you could always have like when I went to the bike shop there talking about Bow Cycle, because I was asking how many people they could have and stuff, and they're like, yeah, like we were doing this and doing that, but then like Bow Cycle got in trouble for doing the same thing we were doing, so then we like stopped doing that instantly. And basically what happened at Bow Cycle is they thought they were doing the right thing. Some health inspector walked in and said, nope, you're done, shut the store down. Everyone had to get out. They had to shut down. I don't know if they reopened. Do you imagine having like 2,500 people at a national?
Clear them
And
out.
some dickhead
Midway
health
through the
inspector
race.
comes in and says, you know what? I don't like this. Shut it down. Like that could happen too. Like,
Well, at least Triple Crown will get their money.
yeah.
They ain't giving it back.
Yeah. That's the problem too with like them trying to do the Supercross thing. All these teams could spend so much money to go to these, get everything ready, get all the parts, get all the testing in, go to the races
the day before,
and then boom, done.
Yeah.
You're done.
It's
I
crazy.
think
Like
the uncertainty, I think, is going to turn a lot of people away.
it's.
Yeah.
I think with like Jetworks too, though, almost like even with, I don't know like what their situation is, but even like with my business, there's to a point if you don't. I mean, most people don't have any debt. If you don't have any debt and you just shut it down, you just don't spend any money. Like you can get by doing that in some cases, I think, but I don't know like what Jetworks like owes or who they
Or
owe
how
money
much
to,
overhead they have.
or how much overhead
Yeah.
they have. Like they don't really,
Overhead, they're probably carrying a ton of debt from their first few
yeah,
years.
that's
too,
for sure.
right?
So if you owe the bank money, I mean, the banks are, like not making people pay their bank payments for like however long. So I don't know if it's in their interest, like, to like spend a bunch of money to try and go racing, or is it better just to like try and just not spend anything
Yeah.
and make sure you're able to do it the next year.
Yeah, that, and also like who knows how much money sponsors have now with all the shit going
for
on
next year.
for,
Yeah.
or for even for this year if
Yeah.
they do decide to try and go racing.
Well,
like
didn't Fox just cut it all out too? Like, what didn't Fox shut all their sponsorship
I heard
stuff
they
down?
were gonna be like, I didn't hear from like the top of Fox, but I heard
Yeah.
from Fox that they said, yeah, they just laid off 75% or 80% of their staff. How are they gonna pay
Yeah,
the series?
exactly.
Well, so that goes back to, let's say racing can happen. Has anybody got any money to go buy a $50 ticket to go see
Yeah,
the
exactly.
race?
No.
No, I'm going to the grocery store at that $50 instead,
Exactly.
right? So,
Well, that's the problem too. Is say racing does happen in September, that's when all the government subsidy is supposed to end.
Yeah.
Then people are. You think people don't have money now? Wait till they're not getting their $2,000 a month from
Yeah.
the government. They're gonna have zero cash.
and no job because
No job 'cause-
every job we've gained
Exactly.
since 1980 right now.
Like the problems aren't right now. The problems are going to be in 6 months.
Yeah, you don't know how long, like
Well,
the
and-
long term effects of this, right?
So we talk about how many people are going to die from the COVID thing. How many people are going to die from a serious recession that this is going to cause?
Dude, they
right?
said they didn't publish. They said there's more deaths in New York from suicide than from COVID.
Yeah.
And they didn't
I
throw
can
that.
imagine.
They didn't throw that.
Absolutely.
I
They
can
didn't throw that in the
imagine.
papers.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to see a graph of like. the
Well,
suicide
apparently for
rates.
every percentage unemployment goes up, the like average suicide rate is 16 or goes up by 16 people
Wow,
for every percentage that the unemployment goes up.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And it was at like 6 in Alberta. And I think Kenny said it's going to be like 25 or 30,
Yeah, like
which is like,
Well, especially if the oil does
Yeah.
what it's doing right now. And
Yeah, negative
People are-
30
people are-
bucks a barrel isn't
Yeah.
helping us.
no.
people are stuck at home with their wives too, getting divorces and
well, it's what, so
Domestic.
my dad's friend works at a hospital. They said the hospitals are like pretty empty, but everything that's coming in is all domestics and liquor sales. Like my sister works for a beer company, so she said like obviously bar sales are down, but retail is like blown through the roof because everyone's buying alcohol. That's all there is to do is drink.
Yeah.
So everyone gets drunk and then they start beating each other up and then they go to the hospital. Like, it's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
And yet they still died from COVID.
And yet they died from COVID. Yeah.
Well, I think
COVID was the big problem.
Well, I think any of us can attest to it. Like even when we travel together, any amount of time with someone, like a long amount of time, you get sick of that person. Doesn't mean you hate them or whatever. You get over it.
You just need
get back to
some space.
Man, that's for real out there.
Yeah,
you get sick of people quick, and then you're locked in the house with them 14 days.
Especially if like someone wasn't loving their situation before.
Oh yeah.
And they like wanted to go to work because it got them out of the house.
Yeah.
And now they have to stay at home. Like that's like the stuff that's worrisome.
Well, when we did our trip to Spain there, like their living conditions are completely different than ours. Like
it's awful.
their basement, the basement you have here is like a full size place there. We rented a Airbnb and it was 2 rooms, a couch maybe half the size of this table, and a little kitchen area. And that was like, it wasn't big, but it was pretty standard there. And you fit 4 people in there, you would lose your mind pretty quick. It's just it's tight quarters. I mean, we have it lucky here, but it's completely different.
Yeah, everyone just piled in, like same with Italy, right? Everyone's just piled into a place.
And it's all like apartment condos there too, right? Where it spreads so much faster.
Oh yeah.
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 The
They're
same
saying
thing with New York, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's on top of each other.
they're saying that it can now be transmitted through like ventilation systems in an apartment building or a hotel.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably the case in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then you like, and that makes sense because like Saskatchewan had like, they had like 300 cases. I think like that was it.
Everyone's so spread
Yeah,
out.
everyone's so spread
And the
out.
wind's always blowing, so
Yeah,
it's
just blows it away.
Blow it to Manitoba, and then it blows from Manitoba to Ontario.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess maybe we should like
change
you guys-
your-
maybe we should
I feel like we could just keep going.
yeah maybe we should like people who don't know you guys like want to know maybe a bit more about you guys.
Matt, you want to go first?
Are we talking
Anything.
anything?
How do you view yourself?
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll start with the introductions first. So I'm Matthew Scott.
With 1 T.
1 T and Matthew, 2 is Scott. Not sure why my parents did that, but it's caused a lot of grief over the years. Obviously, we all met through motocross. It's crazy to think back. I think I talked to one person from high school, and the rest is motocross, and that's kind of what shaped me. I don't race anymore. I got into motocross when we lived overseas. We'd always come back to Canada to visit family. We always go on a big camping trip, and my dad bought a PW80 from Blackfoot. I think it was late 90s, and fell in love with that thing, fell in love with riding. And whenever we went camping, my dad had this 1980 something CR 250, and he'd put a piece of 2x4 whatever through the exhaust pipe, and that's my foot peg, that's it at the front. And I remember the first time we caught air, it was like I fell in love. And then when we got this PW80, we were out camping and we found this jump, and I'd hit that thing so fast, and the suspension was completely clapped. I mean, we had like 200-pound people riding this thing, and so then it kind of evolved. My dad used to race at Blackfoot or Wild Rose back in the day, and so one day he figured, okay, well let's go check it out. Let's see if it's still there. Back then it was just flags and that's at your corner, just a grass field, and so we went there, and I was hooked after that, and that's where I started developing more friends through motocross, and that's where all my time was focused. And then so I think it was my first year riding, I set out 2 goals for myself, and one was to turn pro and one was to race a pro national. And fast forward, 15 years later, I finally got that, and it was definitely a lot of work put into it, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. And then once I achieved those goals, I never really reset my goals, and that's kind of where motocross stopped for me. I've thought about it a lot. I keep looking back, and I developed a lot of great friendships, a lot of great memories through racing. And I do miss the great moments. I think it was my last year at state. I was racing. I was busy with school, so I couldn't really train, couldn't really ride. I'd show up to a Super Saturday and race. And then my bike would be put in the trailer till the next Saturday. And it was just injury after injury and after injury. And that's kind of what turned me off, is if I don't have the time to fully commit, because I've been racing at such a competitive level, I don't really like settling for last or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just frustrates me, especially when you take a year off and you come back racing, and then people that you were lapping 2 years ago, or those are your biggest competitors. And I just got frustrated with that, and I was stubborn, and I just couldn't accept it. And so I kind of lost the drive to race. I sold my bike last year, and I think if I were to get another bike, it'd probably be a bush bike. Just looking back, I had so many great memories riding out in the bush too, with family and friends. And so yeah, that's kind of my story with motocross. Yeah, go ahead, Riley.
Wait, hold on. This guy.
Hold up.
You're also you're also a petroleum engineer, right?
Yeah, so I took petroleum engineering technology at here's a good story. So I took I took petroleum engineering at SAIT, and graduated, and then that's kind of when oil kind of hit the can. Couldn't really find anything, so I think early New Year I went back to the rigs, did about a month on there, and then that rig shut down, and that was it. And I was out of work for about a month, and that's when I talked to you, Jared, saying, "Hey, I don't have any work. Is your dad hiring?" So you talked to your dad. He gave me a call, and he said, "Yeah, call my dad. He wants to talk to you." And I remember the interview. I went into Jerry's office, and he said, "So, can you read a measuring tape?" But yeah. He said, "Don't laugh, because it's like,
it's a common thing. People can't read millimeters."
Yeah, he said that there's a lot of people that just can't do it. And I said, "No, I can read a measuring tape." And he's like, "Okay, when do you want to start?" And so I was working nights, and I think it was about 3 months in. I called up U of C, and I said, "Hey, I have a petroleum engineering technology diploma from SAIT. If I go to U of C engineering, what credits can I get?" Because back in the day, my dad, he took mechanical engineering at SAIT, transferred to U of C, and got a year and a half credit or whatever. So I was thinking, maybe a year, just 3 years at university, whatever. And then they said, "Okay, well, if you take oil and gas engineering, we'll give you 1 course credit." I didn't really have an option, so I said, "Okay, sign me up, whatever." And then she goes, "Well, hold on, actually, we're working on a program called energy engineering, and basically it takes 50 students a year based on your GPA from any technical college, or any college where you get a technical diploma." And she said, "I can put you on the email list. It's kind of in the works right now." So I said, "Sure." So 2 weeks later, I got an email saying, "Kate, registration's open. You got like a week to register." So I went home, registered, and then 2 weeks later got accepted. And then that was so this program, it's 2 years straight. So I started May 2015, and you go spring, summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall, winter for 2 years, and it was a grind. But I'm glad I got it done. It's unfortunately right now oil's still in the tank, and it's this program kind of geared you towards all types of energy. So we learned about, oil, we learned about renewables, but taking petroleum engineering at SAIT, I kind of knew I was always going to fall back to oil and gas. And I think everyone that graduated that did end up getting a job is still in oil and gas. No one really went to that renewable side. So that's my education story.
On to the next contestant.
Oh boy. Yeah, my name's Riley. I same as Matt, met pretty much everyone at this table through motocross. When I was a kid, I used to always go up to my cousin's farm, and I'd live with them for like a month every year and help on the farm and whatnot. And since they were living on the farm, they always had quads and all that kind of stuff. And so the one year I went up there, two boys, both my cousins, they had like, what are they, CRF 80s, like just a little 4-stroke 80s. So they both got these little dirt bikes. And so after a month living out there, first thing I came home and said, Dad, I want a dirt bike. And he said, okay. So we drove over to Blackfoot, and I got a CRF 100. And I think we always had the idea, like, oh, we're gonna go to like McLean Creek and all this kind of stuff to go. And my dad had got one too. He got like an XR like 250, like a 4-stroke woods bike. And our plan was always to go to like McLean and do that kind of stuff. And same thing with you. He's like, oh, I think there's like and my dad was good friends with Darren Shruga. So he called Darren. He said, hey, like my son and I got some dirt bikes. Like where's a good place to go ride? And Darren's like, oh, you should just like go to the track in Calgary to like, because I had like never ridden, like learn how to ride the clutch and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up going to the track and never went to McLean Creek after going to the track once. And so yeah, I rode around there for a little bit, and then signed up for my first mini moto on my XR 100 and got lapped by Ben Pookie and Nick Collins in my first race, and was riding around there for a little bit, and ended up, I think I almost broke my wrist like just launching one of those little jumps on this XR 100 with like 3 inches of suspension. So after that, my dad said, okay, enough of that. And we went back to Blackfoot and got a CRF 150, one of those little 4-stroke 150s that they just came out with. And yeah, started racing from there, and did all the Super Series, and then started doing the Southern Albertas, and yeah, worked my way up to racing at the Pro Nationals a little bit. A very, I'd say, mediocre motocross career at best that I had, but I had lots of fun. Made lots of good memories, same as Matt, met all my best friends. I don't really talk to anyone outside of motocross as of right now, which I'm completely okay with. Everyone that I race dirt bikes with,
yeah,
I enjoy their company a lot more than the kids I went to high school with. Met my girlfriend that I'm living with now through motocross, so I don't regret any of it, that's for sure. But yeah, I think my last race was in 2015 in Regina when Jared carted himself off the track, and I don't know if really that had anything to do with it, but I just kind of got to the point where I was just like, I'm good. Like
we were pitted together.
Yeah, we were pitted together. Jared, I remember, was right at the start, right? So we do the start, and then it gets red flag, so I go back to the start, and I don't know where it came up, but I asked him, is that Jared? And my dad's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh fuck. All right, here we go. And that was actually one of the, so we and then I don't know, I think I had a decent race that moto, but anyways, we pack up, go to the Regina Hospital, pick Jared up, and we're driving back to Calgary in Jerry's bus, and Jerry's driving and Jared's in the back with on the bed with Dom, and I'm laying on the couch, and I think it's like 1 or 2 a.m. because we didn't get out of Regina until like 8 because we were waiting for Jared and stuff, and then so we're driving down the highway, and I'm laying on the couch, and all of a sudden I start feeling like a little bit of a swerve, and I'm like, oh man, I kind of wake up and into the rumble strips, Dom and I are looking at each other, and I was turning around like, Jerry, you okay? He's like, oh yeah, I'm good. And then I was like, okay. fall back asleep. All 5 minutes later, Jerry, you want me to drive? He's like, yeah. So like before I could even say yes, Jerry was already hopped out of the driver's seat. It was like felt like there was just no one driving the motorhome, but I'm like, okay, here we go. So I start driving, and I'm like, oh, I'm like going around the corner. Whatever. I've driven a motorhome before and stuff, and it was all fine. But I just remember looking down, and the cruise is set on like 135, or just like hauling ass. So it's pretty funny. Yeah. But yeah, I stopped racing, and then just kind of had like a few jobs here and there, and got my pilot license during that after I stopped racing. And then I didn't know if I wanted to like work with my dad in the Tim's thing, and he was always asking me about it and stuff like that, and I was kind of not sure. And then one day I was like, okay, I'll give her a go, and I kind of like set out a few ground rules that I wanted to happen, or I didn't want to do it, and he agreed to them. So I went to Ontario, did my donut school thing for a little bit, and, learned how to make some donuts, and worked like at my dad's stores for like about a year and a half, and then I ended up getting my own. So I own my own store now, and that's where we are. That's the life of Riley.
So with all that being said, like, do you guys miss racing at all, or are you guys good with like you guys said, you guys have met all your closest friends through racing, and is there any you kind of miss racing at all? Or
I think I miss like the rush of it.
Yeah.
Like lining up and seeing if all your hard work was paid off or not. But
getting the whole shot.
Yeah, that felt good.
Wait, you whole shot at Pro National?
No, never
Super
Pro
Saturday?
National.
A couple Super Sats.
Super Saturday here and there.
No, I feel like I miss the rush of it a little bit.
Still
But
keeps going.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
I think we live I think I try and live like a pretty exciting life with other activities that I do.
Yeah, mountain biking, stuff like that, yeah.
Jet skiing, whatever. So, but yeah, I miss the adrenaline of it a little bit for sure.
Yeah, there's a time that I felt kind of lost from the time that I quit racing to the time I picked up a new sport, which was mountain biking. It was different. I mean, I miss the good moments. I miss hanging around people and your buddies, and seeing the people that you want to succeed. I wrenched for Keelan that West Coast, and seeing some of those.
That was a good fucking run.
Yeah, seeing those successes, I miss. I mean, even though I wasn't racing, I was putting in the work, and seeing it pay off was rewarding. When my dad went to Australia, I think he went for 2.5 years. That's when I started traveling around to each race with Riley, and it was. I was also working at a shop. Jackie Sight's dad, he owns a shop for pipeline installation. So I was working there, and Jackie was working there, so she knew my schedule, and they were very, very accommodating towards my schedule around motocross. If I had to take a Friday off because I was driving to Regina, there'd be no problem. Or some other pro national, I just needed an extra day to get ready. So that was nice, and Friday rolls around, and there I am rolling up to Riley's driveway, loading up our bikes in the trailer, and I think we did that all spring, all summer, and then we got so close that the next weekend was family vacation.
Yeah,
and
how long came back?
Yeah,
those are some good times.
Yeah, and as I've been thinking about this lots too about racing, and my mom, she put in a lot of work. It was she supported me with whatever I did. She always has my back. As long as I'm having fun, she's right there, supporting me. And whether it was Thursday night, she'd be up all night making food or whatever, and she'd be up in the morning making sure I've packed all my food and I got everything, and then she'd be at the track at 11 o'clock bringing out the barbecue, cooking up some lunch or whatever. And I think the biggest it was almost a heartbreak was amateur nationals in Raymond, and I put in a lot of time and effort. My mom put in a lot of time and effort. You know, she was meal planning for the whole thing, booking hotels, doing all that. And so I think it's a 3-day format, and before that you have a practice day. And I don't know, I think I just got squarely off a jump or something, crashed, and then cracked my shoulder blade. And that was it.
On practice day.
On practice day, yeah. And all that hard work, and not just for me, but for my mom too, it was just gone. And that's kind of, I think that was my last amateur national. That's kind of when I said, you know what, you know, I think I'm dragging too many people into this. I've achieved my goals. And as you guys know, you can win intermediate, but there's such a big gap in Alberta between intermediate and pro. Unless you're absolutely dominating intermediate, it's hard to get that jump into pro.
Make the jump to like being a competitive pro.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
Sure, yeah.
Like for me, I was, you know, my last year, I was up front battling for the win in all 3 intermediate classes, and then I show up to pro national, and I may qualify, I may not.
I think the biggest thing is like the tracks though too that you're racing
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you don't get it's hard to
everyone else has been racing on.
Yeah, it's hard to, especially when you're like first getting into the nationals, trying to like figure out how to go through qualifying and like how to ride the track.
Tough time with that,
yeah, it's tough.
I always had a tough time like trying to get that one hot lap in.
Yeah. So yeah, same with me. I couldn't just turn it on for one lap. For me, you know, looking at my lap times at the end of the races, I was 2 or 3 seconds slower on my last lap or my first lap than I was my last lap.
Yeah.
It takes me, and it just killed my dad every time watching, because he knew I was faster, and if I got that jump, if I had that edge the first few laps, I'd be right up there battling all the time. But it was like same with Riley. It's just hard to flick that switch and turn it on.
I did figure it out like the last year I raced in 2015. I was like, thank you. Like qualifying, like no problem. But it took me like a year or 2 to figure it out. But I wasn't like, I was always on like the bubble too, which is, I didn't have that like raw speed that some guys had. So
yeah, it's but I mean, back to your original question of do I miss it? Certain aspects I do. Yeah, it's like Riley mentioned, that rush. There's just nothing that beats it. You know, once that 5-second board is turned.
That's the thing. Like I sold my bike today, and so it's like the first time since I've been probably like 12 that I haven't had a dirt bike, and I sold it and I started it up and I was like,
yeah.
Man, like I don't know if I want to, but like I don't ride it, so it was the right thing to do. And but that I do miss the rush, but I think the rush is replaceable.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
think like mountain biking has definitely filled the void of. The other thing I really liked about mountain biking is I always, with dirt biking, liked seeing the progression.
Yeah.
And seeing yourself and like noticeably seeing yourself. That's the other thing that kind of bugged me about dirt biking, like closer to the end too, is like my learning curve is like super steep. I think with motocross, I mean, I didn't race till I was like 14. And at that time, my first race, I was 14. I got lapped by Nick and Ben. And by the time I was like 19, I was racing against them and potentially beating them in races. So my learning curve was super steep. And then I kind of plateaued and I was like trying to like fight for like a second a lap. And that kind of irked me a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like that. It's almost like the last part was the hardest to get. I just never quite got it. And that bugged me quite a bit. Yeah. That's the thing always I started mountain biking is I like the progression the first year just is like so high when you start something new, and it's nice seeing that. But
yeah. And it's even I remember when I first bought my mountain bike last year. I think it was end of May, early June. And it was we went out to Bragg Creek. Me, Todd, Boss, I think you were there. Maybe not. Riley was there. And I warned him. I said, "Okay, guys, I'm out of shape. I haven't really done anything for 2 years." And everyone said, "Oh yeah, no problem. We'll wait. No problem." Oh man, I had never struggled so much in my life. I almost sold my bike after that. I was so mad. But like Riley said, with the progression, I mean, near the end of that year, I'd stop maybe 2 or 3 times going up that hill, whereas I stopped probably 20. There was places I'd be pushing my bike up, and then at the end of the year, it's like, what were you thinking? Like, this isn't even steep right here. It was actually embarrassing because I was pushing my bike up, and there's this little kid on a bike, no clip-ins or nothing. He's like
pedaling up.
Yeah, like a family of like 5 and 6. Oh man, I was so mad. But yeah, no, like Riley said, there's definitely a huge progression in it, and it almost resets not at your skill level, but at the shape you're in.
Yeah.
Which I think it's nice to see that progression with your cardio as well. But,
cardio's a bitch.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never gets easy.
No, you always push it to the next level, and then it gets harder.
That's the thing. It's always hard, but
Yeah.
I find with mountain biking, like going up never really gets like a whole. It does get easier, but like you just go faster. Like you just click a gear up.
Yeah.
But it still hurts the same as it did when you're
Yeah.
out of shape.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. And you like work like all summer, and then the next spring you're like so out of shape. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
The women doing up
Basically,
there.
Yeah,
hear what they're saying.
Yeah, we should get them on the podcast.
Yeah.
Just stick
Yeah.
microphones up.
Yeah. Just
Shit, I'm locked.
jabbering away.
I had
Oh,
something
Lord.
to say about. So Matt, you were saying you'd get a woods bike. Why would you do that? Like, is it just because? Like, I feel the same way about like after racing. I feel like if I tried to have a motorbike and try to go to the track, I'd be ultra competitive, and I'd be like, I couldn't turn that off. Is that kind of why you would think you'd get a woods bike?
Part of it, yeah. And for me, I think a lot of it too is injury. Obviously, I know you can get seriously injured out in the woods too, but all my injuries, and it's not the broken bones that scare me; it's the head injuries. I'd rather have a compound fracture than another concussion, right? I've had a few concussions in my life, and I think eventually they will catch up to me, and then that's kind of what I fear as well. And just with dirt bikes now, and tracks are getting faster, jumps are getting bigger, and unless, because I just didn't have the time to train as hard as I could, and like I said, my last year state when I was racing was I'd show up on Saturdays and race, and that's when I got injured.
Yeah, it's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, so I mean, unless you're fully committed, you're training, and that's your only focus, it's hard to be competitive and safe.
Yeah, you gotta like really dial it down to be safe, right?
Yeah, and you can tell yourself all you want. Okay, I'll just let everyone go off the start line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Well, once that 5-second board flips, it's
Sometimes
like
it's hard to let go.
like your instincts are on. It's once that gate drops, you're going for the whole shot. And then of course, if you do get a good start, like my dad always said, near the tail end of his racing was, whatever, I'll try harder on the start, and then I'll just let everyone by. And then if
you get a good start,
yeah, you get a good start.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
no.
Everybody
Thanks,
remembers the guy who went from first to last. Nobody remembers the guy who went from last to fourth.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I feel like once you get tired too, like, motocross can bite you so quick.
Yeah.
It's like I get a little bit of arm pump in, one little mistake and it's game over. But I think anything we do is, I carted myself off the mountain bike hill last year really good too. So
That's true.
I think anything is, or skiing, like we ski lots in the winter now. Same thing with that. The better you get, the more risks you take and fast you want to go. And
I think even like once, like the better you get, and then you have that like level of talent, and that's all you're used to at that point in time. As soon as your mentality's out of it, you're screwed.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if I ever show up to the track and I'm like, I'm just gonna ride 80%, and if there's no focus involved, like if I'm not gonna focus on a drill or something, I'm just focusing on like, I'm just gonna ride leisurely. I usually tuck the front end.
Yeah,
That's when it bites.
And same thing with mountain biking. Like I went mountain biking in Cali, and I was like, I'm just gonna like take it easy down this trail because I don't want to like crash and not be able to dirt bike.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it was sketchy. Like it just as soon as your head's not in it.
I think that's what happened with me mountain biking too. I was like, we were out on the lake all day, and I had probably had a few beers on the lake, and it was like 5 o'clock, and we were like, hey, let's go rip a mountain bike lap.
Yeah.
And just like my mind was just out of it a little bit, and next thing you know, I'm ass over tea kettle off a step up, landing on my head, and that just sucks.
Yeah, it's it can bite you quick. I find with mountain biking too, especially when you start jumping, it's like
so weird compared to a dirt bike.
You just people are like, oh, your bike's lighter though, but with a dirt bike, you just feel like you have so much more control. You can tap the brakes, you can rev the engine.
So used to the inertia of the bike.
Yeah, just having something, especially on these new mountain bikes, like these are so light. It feels like you're riding nothing.
Yeah, and it's so light, and it's like anything. If there's anything wrong with the lip of the jump, it reacts so much more than dirt bike that just soaks up more.
Well, yeah, you can apply the throttle to like account for a little bit of kicker.
And especially, I mean, with mountain biking, because it's for us, it's not just downhill. We ride clip-ins. That's kind of what bit you more too. Yeah,
I went to like scrub this like little hip and caught my pedal and started going over the bars, and I went to kick my bike off. That's like, and I was clipped in. So I always think it was back in my head, if it was filmed and it was in slow motion, and you like see me going ass over Tican, and I go to like kick my bike off, and then the video would stop, and it was like, at this point he knew he was fucked. I went to kick my bike off, and I was didn't happen, and then just landed straight on my head. I think that would have been funny. It wasn't funny at the time, but
yeah.
I think a lot of like what we're talking about kind of goes with what you guys were saying, like with quitting racing when like I know for myself, like getting to that point now where it's like right at the top, and I know what my goal is, and it's not very far away, but it takes so much mental capacity to, or at least I know it's going to take so much mental capacity to get there.
Right.
Because everybody else is just so like fine tuned. And when you're off of that, like it's either going to be catastrophe or you're just not going to get it. But it's like you're pushing that edge, or like for anybody really, no matter what their talent or skill level is, you're pushing that like that fine line. And as soon as you're just not there, you're hooped. And I think that's a hard burden to carry every day. It's with any sport really, especially the ones that like have high consequence. And with racing, like it's mentally taxing to be on every single day. Like even like when you and I go and ride, it's nice to have each other, but it's like doing that every single day, it's like whoo, but you get used to it. But it's like when you hit that one day where it's like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this like mental pressure today, usually something's gonna go wrong.
You crack down.
It's just finding that mental that little mental edge where you can kind of sustain it, and you feel like you can, I don't know, you can deal with it. And it's like finding the line between where you feel like you're gonna hurt yourself and where you can actually ride. And like sometimes overdoing it too, like overdoing that mental capacity can have the same effect of not having that mental, like not being fully into it, and you can hurt yourself.
And I totally get what you guys are saying with the mountain biking, like something new, and then you see that quick progression, and it's all fun, but then you might like get to a point where like you're saying, you start plateauing and you're pushing as hard as you can because you want that rush, you want that extra edge, and then it's like, but then that's when it becomes mentally taxing. It's
the same thing with like skiing. I've always snowboarded. In the last couple of years I switched to skiing, and it's the same thing. I just wanted to like try something new and see myself progress in it, which is really fun. Like I love it, but you said, at some point it's going to get to that edge where you're not going to see the progression, and maybe it's going to start frustrating me again. But
so would you say that, like, would it be safer for you to go back racing because you guys have years under your belt, that natural talent you've built up? When you want to go push, wouldn't it be a little safer to be on a dirt bike than trying to push at a sport that you're maybe not as comfortable in?
Possibly.
I find though with motocross, it's not it's not something you can just hop on and it's so physically demanding that
for sure
it's not just a matter of hopping on and is it being safe or not. It's all the work that goes on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
So whereas mountain biking, it's
a 35-pound bike under you, not a 250-pound bike.
Yeah.
Like motocross, it just beats the crap out of you. It's crazy.
All the little
muscles you don't use. Like I hopped on my mountain bike for like my first good mountain bike this weekend, and I'm not like sore. Like my legs are a little tired, but remember like going down to California after taking like 3 or 4 months off, and like you go to the track your first day, and the next day you're like, oh my god,
yeah,
I'm beat to crap. But.
Yeah, actually with motocross, I remember. I think some of the funnest times. I think Chris, you were there. Me, you, Brighton Allison, and Jared Stock.
That was a good trip.
We went down to California, and I think that was the first time where I could kind of mentally turn off my competitiveness and just have fun.
Yeah.
And because we're all in the same boat. We went down to California, and we went to Fox Racer. It was Pal at the time, and we do 2 laps and then come off, have arm pump, and just shoot the shit in the parking lot for a little bit, go back out, for another 2 laps, and then do that for 4 hours, come back, and then we go to the bar or something. And then my first trip when I was down with you there for 2 months, that first trip and the 2 trips I did last for fun, I think those were some of my best moments, because just you're not focused on training. Nothing has to be perfect. You're just going down there with a clear mind and having fun.
Buying Britney Spears CDs.
Yeah, Britney Spears CDs, yeah.
Just jamming out with a subwoofer and the... Did you have the van back then?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did it make it down to California ever?
I drove. No, it didn't. I don't think it made it across the border.
Do you have any pictures of that thing around?
Yeah,
I do. Yeah,
I gotta see some.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll put a photo up on the YouTube. But so this is what is it? What year was it? Like a 2000 Dodge Caravan or something?
Might have been
98, I think.
Yeah. 98 Dodge Caravan. We spray painted this thing with I think, what is it? Fred Phillips.
Yeah, Fred Phillips. So we went to Home Depot and we picked up probably 15, 20 cans of spray paint.
Sharpie markers.
Yeah, and I remember as we were paying, we almost didn't get this stuff because she thought we were going to go graffiti something.
Well, you were. It was just your own van.
Yeah. So then I think we rolled it into Todd's garage.
Yeah.
And then Fred, he's a pretty good artist, and we just let him take care of it. Yeah. And the whole back window was plastered in stickers. My dad bought me this big yellow Hummer sticker I put on the back bumper, and that's
truck nuts hanging off.
Yeah, exactly. Back. Yeah, and
the hood scoop.
Yeah, and then I
hood scoop.
I forgot about the hood scoop.
Yeah, I think that was made. It was initially made out of an old VP can. That was one of Todd's created. I don't know how he made it. But.
Handyman Todd.
Yeah. And then I actually raced out of that thing for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, we black little trailer.
Yeah, because you had an old motocross crate at your shop.
Yeah.
And we brought that over to your dad's place, and we fabbed up this bed frame out of the motocross.
Oh, you mean crate. Like a crate for a bike?
Yeah, dirt bike crate. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I could tow my trailer with it. And it was pretty sacked out. It was, for a 98 Caravan, man, you could screech those tires right off the stop, right off the light. But so I raced out of that for a couple of years, and that was fun. It was almost like a trailer life or like a motorhome life, but I mean, you're still cooking outside.
Did you end up destroying that thing in a crash?
Yeah.
Derby, or?
So
Jared Allison's.
Yeah. So I went to SAIT. So actually, we'll back it up to my friendship with Brighton here. So that first trip, I went down to California, trained for 2 months, and then I drove straight to Tabor. That was the first round of the Southern Alberta Series. And Brighton, talking to him later, he figured he was going to show up to that race and absolutely clean up. First race of my life, beat him. And I remember after the race, how everyone kind of pulls over off the side and high five or whatever. And so I stop, I look back, and there goes Brighton. Doesn't even look at me.
Just pissed.
Yeah. So then second race, he ended up beating me. So he got the overall. And then it was 2 years later, first day at SAIT. And out of, I think there's 3 classes. So like group A, group B, 4 classes, group A, B, C, and D. And so there's 120 students, 30 in each group. And me, Brighton Allison, and Jared Stock were on the same class. And within your class, we were group D. So within group D, they split up 15 of you for labs. So 15 did labs these days, 15 did labs the other days. And Bright and I were partners. And so we got to know each other pretty well. And I remember I looked at him and I said, hey, because he went back to his farm every single weekend. As soon as class was done Friday, he'd open his truck and off to his farm. And so I said, hey, why don't we have a crash derby at your place? And he says, oh no, that's not gonna work. And then he comes back. He comes back the next after the weekend, and he says, so derby's in 2 weeks. And so I said, okay, perfect. My van didn't have insurance. My van didn't have registration. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to insure it for this. So we need to take some back roads to your place. So he's like, yeah, don't worry. I got it covered. So we're driving down, and this is felt like gravel road for 3 hours. And I think I still had I bought those 2 12-inch subs in California. I still had those in the back. And my alternator was shot. So it was every time you stopped, you had to boost it. And so we finally get to his farm. I think it was a Friday, and I park it in his shop. We get under that thing, cut the exhaust, cut the cat out of it, and this thing sounded pretty mean. And I also had a broken collarbone at the time. So I remember I had to have something to hold on to. So we welded this thing to the floor so I could hold on to it. And I had this drifting knob on my steering wheel so that I could steer easily. And so then the next morning, the racing starts, and I won't get into the whole detail of how pole position was awarded, but so I ended up winning these first 2 races. And then it was the last race, I think it was. No, so yeah, the final race was everyone. So they broke it out into heats, and then there's 3 heats. The winners of the heats race each other. The racers in second place race each other. Racers in third place race each other. And then it's just a big race at the end. So this big race at the end, I didn't get pole position. I got put in the back, and flag waved. Foot to the floor. I don't know, for some reason my van hit third gear. It went. I was in, I think, third place by the first corner. And then later that lap, I was in second, and I was right behind Brad Allison, the older brother.
Yeah.
And we come around, and he used to race motocross, so I figured he's going to protect the inside line. And it's this big 180 left turn. And he goes by, and just the inside is you can fit 3 of my vans in there. So I said, yeah, I'm hitting it. So I go inside, and he cuts across, and all of a sudden I hit right behind his driver door, and all I see is the bottom of his truck. And I didn't really think anything of it. I'm just hold on, broken collarbone, drift around this corner. And then as I kind of finish the corner, I think, oh fuck, I just rolled this guy. So I'm turning around, I got a helmet on, I'm trying to see what's happening. He rolled all the way over, and you can just hear him grabbing gears. And I'm thinking, oh, you son of a bitch. So I'm foot to the floor. And but by the time the race ended, my transmission was done, and I could foot to the floor the entire track. And there were some pretty sharp corners, but so he ended up winning it. And they've had, I think, 3 weddings now that I've been to since then, and every time I see him, he mentions that.
Well, he rolled over a whole vehicle and still won the race.
Yeah. No, it was good. But that's where I think we woke up the next morning, and we put a rock on the gas pedal.
I think we did it that night.
Was it that night?
Yeah.
Yeah, just blew it up, and because I had my foot to the floor, I could shift from park to third gear. There's nothing left. But it was funny because as soon as the checker flag waved, it was like everyone's mentality went from like a derby race to like a crashed up derby.
Oh yeah.
And it was like that checker wave flag, and everyone was turning around, smashed into each other. And one of the rules was you had to disable your airbag. And it was so as soon as everyone started doing this, I'm thinking, shit, I didn't do this. We didn't do this when we were doing my mods yesterday. And so I remember my first time I'm driving up to this car. I think it was parked. Someone else's banged up car that wasn't running. So like I'm driving up to it probably 30 kilometers an hour. And there's within 30 feet away from it, I let go of the steering wheel, just hoping this airbag's not gonna pop or smash this car. And then airbag didn't go off. I think Brighton's vehicle is already towed, so I unrolled my window, said, "Hey, come on in." So he hops in the passenger seat. We go around smashing up all the other vehicles, and oh man, it was a lot of fun. Those guys know how to have a good time.
Oh yeah, I was hungover that day at like 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. There's a big shop party after, and
that's awesome.
I was like, I think that the party just started going. I said, no,
we're going to bed.
Yeah, I've been drinking for 12 hours now. It's bedtime. But yeah, no, it's a good time out there.
I was saying to Jared, we should have a stampede out at my parents' place this year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
15-person stampede.
Yeah. Yeah.
15. Get your tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all those posts, like you can still get dressed up like a cowboy and get drunk for 10 days.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta do it out at the shop, and one of the rides can be, put the crane on your belt buckle.
Oh yeah.
And swing
Yeah. Oh man, we were reckless back then. Jeez.
That's some bullshit.
Let's
That's
get into that a little bit.
Should we
What happened there?
Should we talk about it?
Yeah, bring it
So
over
let's
here,
bring
what'd
up
it
this
say?
new schedule. We just got word.
Oh, perfect.
Whose Instagram
Speaking
is
of
it
the
on?
That's some bullshit.
Okay, so we got the first round in Gopher Dunes, July 11th.
Whoa. Hold on. Mention that they're all double headers first.
Okay.
Who posted it?
Oh, I was going to mention double
Crap,
headers too.
Okay, they all double. Okay, I didn't really read the fine print here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. A double header at Gopher Dunes.
Are they double headers or are they GP style or actual double headers?
Says double headers.
So okay, we're gonna race 4 30-minute motos at Gopher Dunes in a weekend.
No, aren't they cutting them down to 25 this
No,
year?
they put it back.
They put it back to
No,
30?
They might change it.
Who
Who
knows?
posted it?
This is direct motocross. So we got July 11th and 12th, Gopher Dunes. The July 18th, 19th at Sandalee. July 25th, 26th at Moncton. Then we got August 15th, 16th at Walton. Then September 5th and 6th at Deschambault.
Dude, like that's such.
I still don't get how they
So they've
plan
written
on
off-
racing
they've-
with no fans.
How do we spend one whole month
Yeah.
with one round?
Yeah.
August only
I
has
was
one
going to
round.
say, go back to that. That
Yeah,
makes
so-
no
yeah,
sense.
Three
that-
rounds in July, one round in August, and one round in September.
Yeah,
That's
and
going to
they're all
suck
out
for
of
you
east.
guys to stay out there.
that's stupid.
Yeah,
Or
you
fly.
can't even. You're probably not gonna be able to fly it.
You
I
won't
don't
be able
know.
to
yeah,
fly
can
by
you
then.
fly?
I don't think so.
If you can't fly, we're not going racing.
That's crazy.
If you can't fly, then
Well,
we're
you
having
can't- you can
spectators.
fly.
Can you?
Yeah.
Will you? I don't
My
know.
dad flew to Ontario to buy a truck.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, when it was really bad.
So they've written
So
off the
I-
West Coast
I don't know.
completely.
I still don't
That's
get how they're
stupid.
going to do races with no fans.
I don't think they're planning on
Let's
it.
see.
Or
schedule.
do you think they are
But
going to have fans?
there's no
at
public
that point?
events in Ontario and Quebec until September.
Well, I like
Then
how
they're
they.
just stupid.
I like
Then
how
it's
they
never
squeeze
gonna
out-
work.
So how is that
How
even
did-
gonna happen?
Well, has that been officially announced for
Yeah, like,
Ontario though?
Yeah.
Because I saw Quebec.
Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta all did it within like 3 days of each other. They
Yeah.
kind of just followed the lead.
You kind of have to,
Yeah.
right?
Then what? Then what are they doing?
Okay. I gotta take a
That's
piss.
official.
You guys keep rambling.
No Saskatchewan rounds or anything like that in
No
there.
West.
No West at all. No Manitoba. That's bullshit for people out here.
I just don't.
Well, what's
Get
like
out
a young up and comer gonna do this year? Just
You
miss out
can't
on
race,
racing, I guess,
yeah.
right? And too bad, so sad for everybody. That's kind of the way the world is right now. But
That's why I was kind of like, I don't know. I think they should just not do it and just plan for next year. Personally,
They're honestly probably gonna hurt some feelings with that, but that's probably their way of recouping their money,
yeah,
or at least paying off.
I suppose, like if you really think about it from their perspective, running a doubleheader is most likely the most cost effective
Oh, for
way
sure.
to get in 8 rounds or whatever it is.
I mean, it is a business, so they technically, at the end of the day, they have to do it.
But if it was a
Whatever they have to
business,
do.
they'd have the amateurs.
Well,
Because I
see,
think
what
that's
they're
where they
probably
make a lot of
doing-
their money.
Probably what they're doing there is that's
run
probably-
amateurs the same day.
There's no
running
way.
running no amateurs, so they can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Because if they have it where there's X amount of pros that show up, they're all spread out.
Well,
But like,
What-
still,
I still don't get this because if we can't have gatherings over 15 or something like that, there's 40 guys on the gate. Even a
Yeah.
half gate's 20 guys, and that's a bullshit race. You know.
Well,
There's 10 guys, 15 guys a team,
and then and then the risk of
and all the
injury
officials and flaggers
How do you
and
work this in?
medics, and it's not
How do you
happening.
turn it off?
I don't know. I just think that's
Out of your credit card or something? Whose phone is this? Swipe up? How do you turn it off? That's what I did and pulled up your credit card. Oh, there we go.
No, if you hit it twice, it goes to Apple Pay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Technology.
You got chatterboxes over there. You can hear
Yeah.
you laughing upstairs.
You guys are on the podcast more than us.
Are you gonna be able to drive home over there or what?
This is only I've only had one.
Okay.
This is like one and a little bit.
so the difference between one and a little bit is different.
So you could have
That's
one,
not one.
1 and 3.
A little bit.
55.
So I'm still dubious about them being able to run it.
Yeah, it's a wish at this point, but hey, if it happens, awesome.
I mean, you kind of have to. You can't just write it off and then all of a sudden, oh shit, we could have gone racing.
No, so I think they kind of, but that's still annoying though. Like,
It's
so
annoying
so
for us.
It's
Is it-
annoying
yeah.
for the racers because
Well,
okay, we're going racing.
you
We got
get
a schedule.
prepared.
We're getting prepared, and then a week before, oh, you know what? Turns
Nah.
out we can't do it. Well, fuck! I just wasted my whole summer training and preparing for races that
Well,
didn't
you could
happen.
be doing something
yeah,
else.
spending how much money training and getting your bikes ready and
Yeah,
whatnot,
exactly.
like-
Trying to get like you could have been hanging out, going mountain biking or doing all these
Yeah.
fun things.
I mean, I get it. I get
But you're
both
training
sides.
for dirt biking.
But they've got to try at least try to get it done.
And everybody's
be
gonna
some
cry
fucking
poor me
effort to
too,
come
whether
west,
it's a
though.
racer, a promoter.
Yeah.
Like if they're at least,
everybody's gonna cry poor me.
yeah. I just see like they got Calgary on there for arena cross. If they're at least hauling their fucking shit out west,
What was
For
the date
one
for
round.
Arena
It
Cross?
It says
Or the-
it
TBD.
just said TBD.
Oh,
but
so-
if you're at least coming out west,
You might as well run a national.
might as well run a race.
If you
When's
can run
the
it in
arena cross?
September.
Is it in September?
They
The arena
haven't-
cross?
You can run a
TBD.
Calgary
TBD,
National
I
in
see.
September.
Yeah, no, I was gonna
No
say.
problem.
Well, just don't have it run till
Yeah.
7:00 at night.
Okay, it
and
says
that's fine.
September TBD. I think what they should do, if I don't know, this
When's
is just me
daylight
talking.
savings?
I don't-
October. You're good.
4 rounds out east, X amount of rounds out west.
This is me not knowing anything about promoting a race. This is just my opinion. I think they should have done like the 5 east, and then try to do the 4 west rounds, and then try to follow it up with the arena cross after, and then work the way back east.
Yeah.
That makes the most
At
sense.
least then it's just like there and then back.
Yeah, like
It's
who's
not like there
gonna
and back.
go to Calgary for one arena cross race?
But do you really think they're ever gonna finish a series out west?
They
There
used
was
to.
talk of it last
They
year.
should.
When-
There was talk
They
of it
used
last
to?
year.
Yeah.
Calgary after party would be
Well,
wild.
that would be insane.
Count me
That would
in.
probably attract a lot of fans too if it was marketed properly.
Well,
Yeah.
and at the right time of year too, because it's always at a bad time of year for us. Like we think Father's Day is a great day to put that race on, but really everybody's tied up doing other shit they planned months ago.
Yeah.
And by the time, like, even though we kind of said, or at least I expressed that I felt like September was a not so profitable time, just at least for like people going to the races that are racing, but like by the time September rolls around, everybody's back in school. Nobody's like in the summer mode for camping and everything. Like,
maybe they will be around the city.
Yeah, could be more attraction for people to show up to the events.
What did you say though? How much is an entry fee at a Jetworks race?
It's like $50 or something.
So say it's $200 for a family to go to a race. After they've had no job for like all summer, like no one's gonna go. No one's gonna have money to go.
Well,
That's
I'm not
unless they're devoted to the
like
sport.
Crazy.
Yeah, but even if the fan, say they do get fan, like they are allowed to have fans. No one's gonna go drop $200 to go to a race when they're trying to buy groceries for their family.
Yeah.
So like, that's a big problem too. And like I said, Jetworks, it makes all their money off fans.
Yeah, I just don't see
it happening.
I don't see why they're planning on coming to Calgary for one round of arena cross.
Yeah, why do that, but no nationals?
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the arena cross schedule? It's
It says
Calgary,
TBD.
and then
No, it's not. Calgary's the last arena cross.
it's the last arena cross.
Well, because they're already out east with that.
Oh, so yeah, I get it.
But it still wouldn't be that big of a deal to make it Ontario the last rounds of arena cross.
I think those teams are going to want to drive their semis all the way across the country for one arena cross.
No,
for arena cross,
they already do it anyways.
The last number of years, nobody's ever showed up to either, because there's always a hockey game or something else going on in this city.
Yeah, wasn't it the one arena cross? The Flames were in the playoffs, and everyone was out in the
the
lot
the
watching
party,
the screen, watching in the parking lot.
That was
no one was at arena cross. Last year or 2 years ago?
I think that was last year.
We debated going to it, and we were on the way to the race. I was like, hey, that looks like fun.
And this is a motocross fan.
This is, like diehard fans. So, yeah, you can't put the race on a weekend where it's going to compete with something like that.
That's what they should do, is hold the fucking race in the Stampede grounds. Outside?
Hold it in the McMahon.
Didn't they, did they do it in the grandstand?
They did X Fighters in the grandstand.
X Fighters.
They could do it though. They could do it there.
Figure something out.
Well, like that chuck wagon area, like the main where they start.
Yeah,
that's got to be like double the size that they race in currently.
Oh yeah. Way better.
Or at least the same size, and then you could kind of stretch it out onto the track and come back in a little bit.
Have a whole flat track around. Come like fifth gear pinned into a set of
I don't know if you guys heard him on the Pulp Show talking about, what was that, Ultra Cross or something like that, where it was speedway, motocross, a whole bunch of stuff mixed together, and that'd be crazy.
Did you guys see that thing that all those like top or those like icons are posting about, like moto icons? Fight Club,
Moto Fight Club.
I haven't seen that. No.
It's like this bracket thing they're gonna do. It's like a knockout bracket, so they're all doing head-to-head racing. And it's like Alessi, Villapoto, Stanton,
Wyndham, Weimer.
We gotta get like J-Law and
I thought they're actually fist fighting.
Yeah,
well, there might be some fist fights with a few of those guys.
Well, like Villapoto called out Alessi, being like, "Hey, remember that one time I like cleaned you out? This is your chance for redemption."
I got a question for you two.
Who's us? Me and Keelan?
Yeah. What do you guys want to get out of motocross? What's the driving factor that you guys keep going back year after year?
You want to go first or me?
I'm processing.
I think for me, it's just like having that constant goal of something to push forward to, and I'm processing too. But
have you set out? So, like I said, my goal was to race a pro national and turn pro. Do you have a long-term goal like that, or is it kind of year by year?
It's kind of year by. I kind of reset my goals every year. So I always told Dom that I was if I got top 10 overall, I was good. Like, I'd be good with that. Then turns out I did that. Not good enough. So I know. Oh, okay, I got a top 5 in Calgary. I got a 6 in Manitoba. Okay, I can be a top 5 guy. So I think it's just like that constant resetting of the goal, and I don't know. It's kind of like a drug. You're like, yeah, I could do that. And like the rush you get when you've accomplished that goal, and it's like, okay, I need that next thing. So I think, and I think it's a little bit of like, I feel like I haven't achieved all I can. Like I always feel like I can do more. So I feel like I haven't reached my ceiling in the sport, and I feel like I can accomplish more. So I guess that's what's kind of driving me. And
do you have a number?
What
of what your next? You said top 10.
Well, I want to be. I think I can be a top 5 guy.
Number 1.
No, I want to. I'm gonna
Top
win.
9.
I'm gonna win the title this year. I'm gonna win it. I've been quarantined. I haven't been able to ride many places, but I'm gonna win it this year. No, I feel like you gotta take it in. You gotta be realistic with your goals.
Achievable goals.
Yeah, achievable goals. I think I can be. I've finished top 5. I've been close to top 5 other races, so I feel like the next step for me is to be a top 5 guy. And I don't think that that's something totally outlandish, but I think I could do it. And I think just knowing that I can do it is what keeps me going. And I mean, I don't want to leave the sport without that box checked, or at least attempting to do that.
Right. So you achieve your top 5.
Then what?
Then what?
Then he's gonna win.
And then is it gonna be top 3? Like that's kind of my point. Is at what point do you kind of sit back and, because obviously, I mean, there's not a whole lot of money in Canadian motocross.
It's not about money either.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's at what point do you kind of pull on the reins and say, hey, like I got to start the next chapter of my life?
Yeah, I think that's a hard line to walk. I mean, people get sucked into something like that all the time. They think that they take it too far. I mean, as soon as I think in my head that I can't do it, or that it seems unreasonable, I think that's when, it's time to call it quits.
Yeah,
but
fair.
Sometimes you can get delusional too, and it's a hard thing to really realize. But I don't know. What do you think, Keelan?
What was the exact question again?
What are you trying to get out of racing dirt bikes?
What's your goal?
Goal.
That's a blanket statement, though. A goal.
I want one of those fucking trophies.
Yeah. What's your what gives you the most,
like a podium trophy?
What gives you,
even though it's like probably worth $20?
Yeah.
I fucking want
okay.
one.
Rephrase it this way. What gives you the most fulfillment of racing?
Well, I was kind of thinking about it when you were talking, and like a little bit with what you were saying, where like I don't want to be however old down the road and feel like I had some sort of regret, that like any ounce of regret being like, because like right now, like I still believe, and if I didn't, then it'd be pretty pointless for me to swing a leg over a bike
Exactly.
and waste other people's time and money. So like right now I still believe, and if I were to quit now, like I'd be pretty upset with myself down the road. And because at this point in time there's no turning back, right? Like you don't have it, like at least for me, like I'm at the age where I can't really quit and then be able to come back and pick up where I left off. So a bit of that, and then I think it's also on the darker side a little bit for me, where like I'm so deep into it that I almost don't, like I have other skills and other like opportunities, but like I almost feel I don't have anything away from it. Like I don't know who I am away from racing. And I know when I don't have that day to day, like I feel so lost, and it's like as mentally strong as I feel I am, and as I know I am with racing, I am so mentally weak away from it. Like if I'm not training and pursuing racing on a day-to-day basis, like I'm a fucking mess. Like it's, and like bad to the point where like I got to work on it. Even at this point in time, it's something I can't like push away.
You just feel lost.
Yeah, because as soon as it's done, which could be very soon, or I don't know how far away, like if I don't like work on or use some sort of tools to kind of work with that and build some sort of platform so I'm not such a mess after I'm done, like I'll be in like a pretty big hole. At least that's how I see it. Because
you don't have those building blocks outside of racing, kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, and even like let's say I do quit racing and I walk right into financial stability and whatever, and it's all good. Like I have a great opportunity with my parents after this is all done. But even still, like when I do work on that away from dirt biking, I'm like,
you're missing something.
I just can't even like function.
Yeah,
and it's like it's kind of dark, just like very depressive.
I know what you're saying.
And so for me, it's like I almost just like latch onto it.
Yeah.
And even though I'm in it now, it's like kind of like I talked to Jared about it a bit and Todd, where like even though I'm in it now, it's like there's all these things that are kind of like getting stripped away from it that I really valued in racing. Like the big thing that I really value is like how you guys are talking, like you met all your best friends. Yeah. Well, I've been doing it for like the past 3 years by myself, and I'm so disconnected to all the friends I made through racing because you guys aren't there.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of tough for me, but it's like if I'm not in it, then I'm just disconnected from myself. So
yeah,
that's a big thing that keeps me in it too, is just it's the one thing that makes me feel whole. So
yeah, that's kind of what happened to me after I quit, and then what kind of saved me was mountain biking and skiing. And you know, like my girlfriend or my parents would say, it's like I just can't settle down. I'm doing something every weekend. You know, staying at home on the weekends doing nothing drives me crazy. And so I mean I can only imagine what it's like for you. You've been doing something your whole life, and then just to kind of you kind of have to have something in place after, like it just kind of keeps you going. Mm-hmm. So now with the news we just got on the schedule, and with the input that Riley had about, was it Ontario or Quebec, banning public events till September, there's still so much uncertainty.
Do you think they might reverse that decision to
I guess they
September?
could.
Like it's
a long ways away.
I don't think they can go back on that.
I think they're preparing for that second spike.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to happen. Maybe not. I mean, I hope I'm proven wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong. Right? Like, but
I don't think that schedule will stand either. Like, I think the industry won't let that fly.
Well, the nice thing about Canada is I think all the facilities are pretty flexible about when they can hold a race. Like down in the States, you hear about, Red Bud wants July 4th, blah, 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 blah. All these places either need a certain date and time because they have other crap going on, like Southwick's, run by the town there or something like that. Like they have one day they can race, or I could be wrong on that, but so in Canada here we're a lot more flexible, so that could change 6 times from now.
I feel like the teams are gonna look at that schedule and be like, no.
And the sponsors too,
and Jetworks kind of, they don't have the power to like to lay their foot down either, right? Which I think maybe is a bit different in the States.
Yeah, there's an established
the promoter has the power to kind of do what they want, and the teams follow along, whereas I feel like Jetworks being so new, that if the teams are like, we don't want to do that, and then they're going to change their tune. So
well, I think the big thing will be whatever Rockstar says, and I know Rockstar will not be okay with not running a race in Calgary. So
oh really?
Yeah, well, it's one of the
staple,
biggest one of the biggest races, and one of the biggest ones with opportunities.
It's in the middle of the city, like you can't.
Yeah. It's the best.
You attract more than just motocross racers and their parents and their family, right?
And I think it's just like such a letdown for like all the people that have so much money invested, like all these people that, not even just like the factory riders, but all the sponsors that have invested in all these riders. And I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking, but what are you gonna do? I think they could have done a little better job of I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, I'm not a promoter, obviously, like I said, but
Can we just hold all 8 races at Gopher Dunes?
Yeah.
Let's just do it all
Back
together.
to back.
Yeah.
8 days in a row.
It's the most central of all the races
Yeah.
they've got, so let's just do it there.
I'm gonna
Didn't they
order
try-
so much fucking HGH and eat.
Tamla's gonna get us sailing bags.
I'm just gonna be fucking ripped for this.
Just eating HGH for breakfast.
I might win the championship, but I'll be dead at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't they try and do that for Supercross? They're like, we're gonna run all 5 back to back,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, no.
So with all this uncertainty, then how does it affect your guys' training schedule or your schedule leading up to these races?
Well, at least now that we have a date, it's kind of a little more certain because before this, me and Keelan had been riding and training the last couple weeks, and it was like just doing what we want to do because we don't really have a date and we don't really know what's coming.
There's no deadline.
So it's like we'll just kind of have fun and do the training that we want to do and I kind of just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to burn out
yourself
either,
out, yeah.
because
Yeah.
like even when that small amount of time we spent in California, like I was starting to ramp up like my zones and stuff and my training and
Intervals and
then as soon as hope was starting to be lost, it was like right back down to like base training because you just don't want to just peak and
So then is your goal now to basically try and be in peak performance by the date that they just posted?
Well, I think you kind of have to take it as something, even though like in the back of your mind you're kind of like I don't know what's gonna happen. I think you kind of have to have a date in mind. You have to have some kind of goal, and you have to have it kind of forces some kind of structure onto you. And I mean to just like have in the back of your mind, oh yeah, that's not gonna happen. Then you kind of just lose all your structure, lose all your schedule, and then all of a sudden you're just kind of like procrastinating on everything.
Well, as a professional athlete, it's kind of your job to be ready for that
You
date,
have to
whether
be
it's
ready.
real or not.
You have to
That's
take
what
it
you know right
seriously.
now.
Yeah, it is. They've at least put something out now, so now you can look at that date and be like, okay, I got to be ready for then.
it's it's also, but it's tough too when it's like you don't really what's the actual probability of it happening. Like,
That's when when you almost can't let those thoughts get into your head because then you start kind of losing your motivation and you get sloppy with like diet and all this stuff, and then you kind of just have to take it seriously and say, okay, I got to be ready for this date, even though somewhere in the back of your head that it might not happen.
That's the second time that's happened.
It's not the third or fourth.
Knocking shit
it's
over.
quite the setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm gonna be pissed though if I sit on my ass for 2 months and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like you
old
said,
man Randy's waiting for me to give him the thumbs up or thumbs down if I'm hopping back.
I just hope Jetworks isn't giving a bunch of people a false hope.
Yeah, like if they
which I kind of feel like is what they're doing.
Yeah, that's kind of. It's just weird that you'd put out a schedule if I know the Quebec rules. I know the Quebec thing and it's till September, but
so is Ontario and Alberta like 95% sure that
I have a
Alberta's for sure.
You want to look that up, Chris?
I didn't know
look
that.
Look up Ontario events ban.
Because Alberta's 15 people.
15 people till the
September
all summer.
1st?
They said all summer is all they said. So
I think it's to the end of August 31st.
End of August, yeah. It makes sense.
Oh, well, that looks a little older. Hold on, it said it was banning gatherings of more than 5.
Oh shit! Till when?
This is a little older, so let's see if we can find something newer. That was March 28th.
Like I get updates from Tim Hortons every day on like the COVID state, and the update I got today was Ontario is up to 15,000, an increase of 872 from the day before.
Yeah, so they're worse than on Alberta.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Quebec is 25,000, and they were up 1,600 from the day before, and Alberta is 4,850.
Yeah, so
and up 300.
it's worse there
That's
than it is
crazy.
here, and to think that they can have events before we can.
That's the
kinda
thing.
crazy.
Yeah, Alberta, and it's kind of been like every government, provincial government's kind of just been following the leader.
Yeah.
Kind of It's like, so once one province does something, all the other provinces kind of follow suit.
Even globally that happens.
Even globally, yeah. So I have a hard time seeing that like Quebec and Alberta are being like no public gatherings until say September 1st, and then mid-July or whatever, Ontario's gonna be like, oh, let's get her going.
Yeah,
like, I
not
have a hard
even
time. Like,
not even mid-July. They're like, oh yeah, let's run a race and go for dunes.
Yeah.
Double header. Like,
and because they were saying that too, like, because all these provinces are gonna try and start easing up like all their stuff, and like when provinces are doing stuff different from other provinces, it's gonna be really hard for all these provinces to figure each other out. So I think they're trying to all do everything kind of similar, but
which
which makes sense.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. Minus maybe like Northwest Territories and
but,
maybe even Saskatchewan. But
so I just have a hard time of like seeing like Quebec on one side and like say Manitoba on the other side of Ontario, and Ontario just like letting it go, and then the other provinces not. But
well, I guess it's kind of no different than Supercross in the States. Like California saying no way.
Yeah.
Arizona. Oh yeah, let's fucking go run a Supercross.
Yeah, state over.
Let's run 7 Supercross races. Like, I don't know.
Maybe they got some high tax.
It's kind of weird too, right? Because like Justin thinks he has all the power, and then all like the provincial governments, they think they want to show that they have the power of their own province. So they're kind of like going against each other. No one knows what's going on. It's just a massive shit show.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have my doubts, but I mean, what can you do at this point? Let's just, get ready for Go for Dunes.
Yeah, like you said, at least you have a date to prepare now. It's not
Still
just
ride some sand
open
somewhere.
book.
Who knows where? Some sand.
Yeah.
I actually read a funny article today about, I guess, when Ebola was like 2014.
Yeah.
So I guess after Ebola happened, Canada like literally had like this huge plan laid out for Ebola. And I guess it was like a pretty good plan. They had like 6 or 7 like major cities that like all like the hospitals in these cities were all going to be like set up for quarantine, and there was like transport from like the airports would have wards, and there's like transportation from the airport to the hospital, and there's like all set up. And they were like saying like the World Health Organization was like telling countries to like figure it out for their own and like not wait for what the World Health Organization to tell the countries what to do. Everyone's like, okay. So they all made all these plans. And I guess Canada had this big plan, and then COVID rolls around, and Justin throws the plan out the window and is letting people fly in from China and waited for the World Health Organization to say what to do. And by that time, it was too late.
By that time, he's speaking moistly.
He's speaking moistly, and everyone's got fucking COVID. So it's an absolutely ridiculous amount of incompetency. I don't know.
So the best I can see here, I can find Ontario slowly reopening here over the next 2 to 4 weeks. They're going to keep opening stuff up, especially sporting events and whatnot.
Okay.
But it's looking like June 30th is kind of when they're targeting.
Okay, so maybe.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird though, because Quebec is the worst hit province in all of Canada, and they're the first ones wanting to open up schools.
Have they passed their peak and now they're coming down? And
I don't
that's
know.
why they think they can open.
Maybe I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm not a gynecologist or whatever.
Fuck, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. Just looking at hoochies every day or what?
That's why Dom married you.
knows what he's doing down there.
Gynecologist.
Let's take a look.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Screw you guys. Yeah, who knows? No one really knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Honestly,
especially gynecologists, they have no idea what's going on.
No idea what's going on with racing.
honestly, racing is probably the least of our worries. As a country as a whole, no one really gives a shit about sporting events. It's the bottom of the totem pole. So,
not in the States. They're like gun ho about getting NBA and stuff going. That's all they talk about.
Yeah.
When are we getting sports going? It's crazy.
What was it you were saying that even though these top athletes in basketball or football, the amount of money that they make, you'd think they can survive off that for a while, but the fact is the lifestyle that they're living right now.
So much overhead.
Yeah, I saw like
that they're relying on that paycheck, even though it's $250,000 every 2 weeks. They need it because that's their lifestyle.
I saw an article and it was like, so like each sporting, all like the players have their own union, and the NBA union was saying like the players weren't prepared to like not get paid, and someone comments, the average paycheck in the NBA is $7 million, or the average salary in the NBA is $7 million. What the fuck are these guys doing with their money?
What football player was it that even during the NFL, as he's like in the prime of his career, making as much money, he was still living with his mom. He's like, I'm putting everything in the bank because this is only a 5-year career or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think NFL is a whole different situation because their careers are so short. But.
A lot shorter, but yeah, exactly. So you got to put your money away, not live this lifestyle thinking you're going to have 20 million coming in for the rest of your life, because that's not a reality.
What's the problem, right? A lot of people get into this like thing where they buy all these houses and they have like, then all of a sudden they're paying 70 grand in property tax a year, and then they have all these other expenses to upkeep on all their properties, and they just don't really think it through. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I can barely afford one average ass house. I couldn't imagine owning like a bunch of like crazy properties. Like the expenses would be wild. Yeah. I mean, when you're making all that money, I guess like the money comes in, the money comes out.
It seems like indispensable, kind of.
Yeah. Then you blow into you and your career's over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. All they do is talk about is when are sports coming back in the States. I heard they were planning on trying to plan for next year without fans at all.
For 2021.
For 2021.
Yeah, I could see it.
They may have to do that.
I could see it. Until there's a vaccine.
Until there's a vaccine, yeah. I don't think like you're going to have 20,000 people in a single area.
Is that all sports?
Yeah.
It's got to be. If it's going to be for one sport, it's got to be for all of them, I guess.
Yeah, because what is it, that stadium in Dallas?
It's just like 90,000 people.
Yeah, 100,000.
100,000, whatever. Like,
or capacity, I think that's all.
So you might never have that again. I don't know.
Yeah, like you were talking last week, it was like, is the Stampede ever going to happen again? Like,
if
they have a couple
100,000 people a day in the Stampede.
In the tightest quarters
ever. It's not very big. It's a parking lot.
Lineups that are just back and forth.
Yeah.
You go from one lineup to the next lineup to the next lineup. There's not like you're just spaced out.
No, like
even the BMO Center just rubbing shoulders the whole time.
Yeah, you go to like any bar and Stampede.
Yeah. The new thing is going to be like carrying Lysol wipes out of your hoodie pocket and like
some spray 9. You spray 9 plate with somebody.
Is everyone just wearing garbage bags around?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird when things do kind of like when they do start relaxing.
What? Here's a business idea. We could make some new tear offs, or you just tear off your whole face mask.
There you go. We could do some. I'm sure there's some kind of business opportunity out of this.
People are capitalizing. I just saw a commercial for like virtual weddings.
You log everyone in on Skype or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Must be a video conference wedding or something.
Oh my god!
Everyone's just getting hammered at their house at a wedding.
Yeah. My sister said she had did like a Zoom thing with a bunch of work people, and they're all like drinking. And the one chick got so wasted that she just passed out and blacked out on camera. Like she was still on camera, just blacked out.
That's like, now every drunk thing you do is on webcam.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh God.
World's fucked.
It's a hoax.
It's all a hoax. It's all a hoax.
It's all Chinese.
They're trying to hide the
China.
What was the latest conspiracy theory I heard? Is they're trying to hide some kind of meteor or something.
We're a little cell on the bottom of somebody's shoe.
No, we're
in another universe.
No, we're part of someone's.
Which is another cell on the bottom of somebody else's shoe.
Which is inside of someone else's gut bacteria.
In another universe.
Apparently, actually, so a couple days ago, I heard Rocket Man was dead, but I guess he's just hanging out on his yacht.
There's been a bunch of conflicting statements about this. There's been a bunch of conflicting statements.
Or is that a conspiracy theory?
Well, I thought he was dead, one person said he was dead, and then the next person said he was a vegetable.
Yeah.
And now I just heard he's just been like chilling, like on his yacht.
He's been low key chilling.
Like just no one. He's probably looking at like YouTube or whatever on his iPad. Like, look at these idiots.
This is why I deleted the news off my phone.
Yeah. Did you see that he claimed he shot like a 36 or something at golf. He got like 3 holes in one. Like what? They also have 0 coronavirus cases.
Yeah.
Like you can't believe anything they say.
Trump, it's all fake news.
Yeah. Well, that was like China too, and they're like, "Oh no, we're actually good now. Everyone's going back to work."
Yeah, because your economy is crashing.
Yeah, I was talking to this one Chinese guy. I know. He said, "Well, no, it's because their economy is crashing. Like they need people to go back to work. They'd rather have people sick than have their economy crash." So like, no, everyone's going back to work. Everything's fine now. Our numbers are down. And of course, their whole media, you can't trust a word they say.
Yeah. I heard something, I don't know if it's true, but they were only saying they had like 3,000 people die or whatever, but there was like 3 million less users.
21 million.
21 million.
21 million. Where's this guy?
Users on what?
Cell phone users.
Cell phone users.
And so in China, they have like a social score. It's like some crazy communist thing where they have like a social score. Everyone has to have a phone before you can even buy groceries or anything. Yeah, apparently they were down like 21 million cell phone users since this coronavirus thing kicked off.
Really?
Yeah, so.
And on top of this coronavirus is everyone's conspiracy theory about 5G network.
Oh, that's outlandish.
You see that video of that lady driving around in her minivan and she's got like some detector. She's like, see, it goes up. But she like drives by a cell phone tower.
Oh,
she's like, they told me I was crazy. I'm just laughing at it.
Too funny.
Or you know what was actually kind of wild was, I don't know if you guys had seen that video of the one doctor, and it was like published by a local news station in California somewhere. I don't know if it might have been in San Francisco, but it was this one doctor kind of talking about what you were talking about, Riley. Like he's like, our immune systems will deplete like if we aren't exposing ourselves to every normal day things that we're used to. Mm-hmm. And whatnot, and that was kind of like the gist of what he was going on about, like basically saying that the way we're approaching things with the whole situation might not be the best direction. And anyways, I guess YouTube like totally discarded the video and all that. You know what I'm talking about?
I know that that YouTube and Twitter are deleting and are banning anyone that has any kind of contradicting statements about the coronavirus or whatever.
Yeah. So the wild part was
China.
that YouTube got rid of it, but then all these like major news stations like CNN and like all these top stations were reporting about it, saying that video got deleted.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of weird that YouTube deleted it, but then all the like major news stations were starting to talk about this deleted video and this doctor that was putting out this message.
Yeah, I've seen a few links for like some top doctor talking about coronavirus, but I never have watched them. Have you watched any of them?
I watched a couple, but I watched the one that got deleted on YouTube, and it was pretty generic. Like it was plain facts.
It's plain facts, but also that guy, if we're talking about the same guy here, the two Southern California doctors, he does kind of have his own agenda too. He has a bunch of clinics throughout Southern California. So you don't think he wants people to start getting back out there and show up to his clinics?
Yeah.
So everybody does kind of have their own agenda. What he's saying isn't necessarily wrong by any means. I'm not saying that. It's just what's in it for him? Why is he saying the things he's saying?
There's got to be some
when
motive.
he keeps saying, I'm not an epidemiologist or gynecologist or whatever.
Epidemiologist.
But I guess at the same time, like some people just feel the need to say something. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You never really know. But it's like it is kind of it's
but
kind of wild that like YouTube deletes it, but then all like the leading news stations in the U.S.
cover it.
Yeah. Well, isn't the whole point behind the YouTubes and all the social media is that expression of opinion,
free speech.
Free speech. So why are they taking this guy's opinion of the coronavirus down?
But that's where
then you get communists.
I think it's something behind the scenes where someone's telling YouTube, take this video down. Because YouTube's, the entire point of YouTube is videos and people viewing videos. If you're going to take down a popular video, you're just
Doesn't make
hurting
any
yourself
sense for your
yourself in the
business.
foot,
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's got to be a someone behind the scenes saying, no, take this video down. You're now ordered to, and anything negative or contradicting towards this whole coronavirus thing.
Morally speaking, let's just hypothetically throw it out there. You own a business. You're trying to just display all this information out there for everybody. Somebody comes, tells you to take it down. Morally, as a company, what are you gonna do there?
I think to that point though is, it depends who's asking. Like,
Yeah.
The consequences of someone.
If it's my neighbor,
someone-
How
saying,
much
"Hey, take it
leverage?
down."
How much leverage
Well,
they have?
yeah, if it's my neighbor saying taking it down, I'm gonna tell him to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But if it's the federal government coming and saying take that down, or
But
we're
is
gonna-
that right for the like?
no, it's not. But
Right?
I'm not. It's not. But they can
Isn't
still
that a
do
form
it.
of what happens in China where they say
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't want that news out there, get rid of it?
That's how they get communists. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's like the whole elimination of that.
So let's say
video
the
kinda
guy's right or
started up
wrong.
there.
It's not right for them to take it down necessarily.
Yeah.
He could be spewing total bullshit, but that's for you and me to decide whether or not we want to believe that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
that's the way
yeah.
it should.
No, I totally agree.
There is
but-
dummies.
There's
There's
a
so
lot
many
of-
dummies though. Like
Too many
the-
dumb people that can't formulate
thing-
their opinion. They're just
Yeah.
what do they call
This is-
sheeple, right? Just
This is what I saw on YouTube. This is fact.
yeah.
But I mean, I think we're pretty naive to think that the governments can't go up to them and be like,
Oh,
it
they
down
do what
now.
they want.
Definitely.
like they do
Yeah.
what they want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was that other like YouTube documentary going around about how like the government and the CIA are like tied into Hollywood. You guys ever see that one?
No.
It just came out too. It's like all this shit's coming out of the woodworks
Yeah.
right now. It's just ridiculous.
crazy.
There's like this other thing, this documentary that came out with this guy. He's like a stuntman and a producer that worked in Hollywood. He's like, yeah, anything you watch that comes out of Hollywood, just question it. And it's basically, I watched the documentary as I got a kick out of it. I thought it was hilarious. And he's like, and it kind of like delves into, he's like, yeah, Hollywood's got a pedophilia problem, and the CIA is trying to like brainwash us through like our programming and like anything on Netflix. Like, do you think the government's really gonna let like just free content roam on Netflix? No. And yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
funny. And then yeah, of course he puts all the Disney things in there of like dicks and the word sex written in the
and
cloud.
all the acid like shit that goes on in the
Yeah.
Disney.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing up a controversial topic.
Yeah.
Did you guys all watch Tiger King?
You watched the whole thing?
I was gonna ask Keelan
Yeah,
about
no
his
problem.
shirt. He seems to be in the.
That's
I'm
a
in
wolf,
the
man.
exile.
That is what's his name?
I'm the wolf.
Cujo.
King.
That's Cujo.
We're going back to Cujo
Johnny
now.
Cujo.
Johnny Cujo.
Did what's his name? Joe Exotic.
Carol
Did-
Baskin.
Carol Baskin. A two-part question. Did Carol Baskin kill her
Yes.
husband? Whack him.
She whacked him.
Yes,
The
I haven't seen the
tigers, they were
documentary, and
snacking.
I'm convinced.
Second question. Did you watch it, Chris?
Yeah.
I guess Jared's alone in the dark here. Does Joe Exotic deserve to be in prison for 22 years?
Yes.
Really? You think he did it?
A guy like that shouldn't be out in public.
I mean, he works. It's all right in Florida.
Yeah, for Florida, it's fine.
put him in the
Let's
southern-
Florida.
Well, let's quarantine him to Florida.
Yeah. If you put
Yeah.
him in the southern tip of Florida, away from all the other state borders,
With all
Hey,
the hillbillies.
Have at it, Joe.
he's good.
Fits right in.
I don't know. They're kind of going off the word of a con man a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh, there.
the FBI kind of had a target, and they're going to get their target no matter what
I
it
don't-
cost.
I don't think there was a shady person, or there wasn't a shady person on that
Involved, yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Like any one of those people, you could
They
pull
should
them
all go to
aside,
jail.
and
Yeah.
toss them in
Yeah.
jail for any number of reasons, right?
Did you guys watch the last one where like the dude from Community?
Yeah, that was
like,
kinda
interviewed
trash.
all of them. Yeah, it was alright. I don't know.
It was definitely
It was
like cash grab, ratings grab,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. They
the-
just blew up. They're like,
Oh,
let's
shit,
do another
yeah.
one. Then.
Yeah.
But
I wonder what they were thinking when they put that out. Being like,
wonder how this is gonna go.
yeah.
It's gonna be the biggest thing in the world for about 4 weeks.
Not even 2
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and then what was the next big thing?
Coronavirus. I don't know.
No, there was
Too
during
hot
the
to handle.
Too hot to handle.
Too hot to
Yeah.
What's that other one? Love is Blind.
Love is blind.
Yeah,
Might
I
as well
remember
just let the
I
women
remember
sit
talking
down
to you
now.
at the bike shop.
Where's
and
Christy?
You were talking about how much more reality TV shows you watch. And, oh, which one are you watching? And I said, oh, Love is Blind. I said, shit, I just finished that. Now we're watching Too Hot to Handle. And you said, shit, I just finished that.
Did you watch all of Too Hot to Handle?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I couldn't watch it. I watched like
It's
a
so
bit of what
bad.
Dom was watching. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
This is
Ridiculous.
these
So
people are
bad.
too dumb. I
Ridiculous.
can't
But
do it.
it's
You
actually.
think you could do
Love
it
is my
though?
head.
No sex for 100 grand for a
No
month?
sex, no
Easy.
jerking off,
I could
no.
do 100
Easy.
grand.
For a
hell
month?
yeah.
No
100 grand.
problem.
100 grand US dollars.
Well, they only got fucking like it was split 10 ways.
Oh, for,
Yeah.
I'll do it for
That's
5.
bullshit
I would do it
to
for
me.
5.
Yeah.
There's a
man.
grand prize of 100K and you got to split it with 10 people.
Fuck that.
And then all these other guys are spending your money just making
Yeah.
out with
Right?
stupid people.
I could do it for 100 grand.
I don't
Like,
know.
if
There
I'm
were
not-
some nice titties in that show.
Yeah, but they're all fake though.
There's some real ones.
I didn't watch it all. The ones I saw were fake.
I don't know. If I was 20 something,
Have we finished it?
Yeah, they're all fake. Yeah,
they're all fake.
They're all fake.
The
No.
Chloe, no. Chloe.
That Francesca
Chloe.
bitch. That bitch.
Fucking Jessica. That
Jessica.
show fired
Jessica
me
and
up.
Francesca, those
Oh,
two
in
are.
that in Love is Blind. Oh my
No.
god.
I fucking hated that
No,
show.
Too Hot to Handle. Francesca.
Francesca,
No,
and there's
Jessica.
Jessica and the
Francesca.
and
Oh,
they do
Canada
Love is
looked
Blind.
bad.
That chick
Yeah.
was nuts.
Yeah, she was.
Who's Francesca?
That
From
She's
Too
from
Hot to
Vancouver.
Handle.
she's the BC chick. She's a bitch.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's a
yeah,
bitch.
Total
yeah,
bitch.
Total
Very
bitch.
fake.
She made Canada look bad.
And she did.
She reminds me a lot of the
yesterday.
girl who scammed the guy in the other one. The one with like 50K debt, no job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Where's this from?
That was in The Circle Jerk or what was it?
The circle.
I didn't
Love
watch
is blind. Love is blind.
Circle jerk. Yeah.
that. 50K.
Okay, hold on. If we're gonna start talking about all this shit, we might as well let these fucking women get in here and talk about
Who
it.
had 50 grand
No.
in debt?
I don't know. One of these women on the show, she starts dating the guy. and
Oh, that was
then,
in Love is
and then
Blind.
they finally meet up at the house there, and she's like, "Yeah, I got my student
Yeah.
loans. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
pay them
no, what's her
off.
name? Amber.
I got all this credit card
Amber.
debt too."
And they're,
Let's get married.
and
Yeah,
they're
let's
still
get married. Yeah.
They're still married.
Yeah, they-
I just
they made
clicked
it.
their
That's
Instagram,
true
not
love
gonna
right
lie.
there.
Which
Yeah,
one's
that's
that?
what Sloan started
That's
doing.
Amber and Barnett.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sloan was
the
like
army
creeping
chick.
everybody.
Yeah,
He's
the
That-
like,
I
"Oh my
like
god,
that.
Francesca and Harry are still together." I was like,
I feel like Sloan lives for that stuff.
I
still
think well,
can't
she
get
was
over-
into it because I was into it.
I still can't get over that woman who fed the dog wine.
Oh yeah, she was like,
that was unreal.
she's like talking to what's like
Yeah.
personal trainer guy. She's like, oh yeah, she's like over it and just
Yeah.
spilling wine.
Yeah, he's like trying to say something sentimental, and she's just feeding the dog wine.
Whose dog was that?
Jessica's
That was
dog-
Jessica's.
Jessica's dog had an operation during the show, and after filming, she would go to the vet and like visit, and she thought she was dying, but then she lived.
So she was giving her wine because like,
Remember
fuck
that
it.
one episode how the dog was there?
Gotta have
That's
fun,
when
I
the dog was
guess. I
there.
don't know.
YOLO.
Okay, next question.
Well,
Love is
maybe stop
blind.
feeding
So
him
there,
wine.
Tam. what
Let's
was
just turn the
there
reality
was,
segment on here.
Yeah.
Can I say black guy and the black chick? That's all right. What
Yeah,
were their names?
Sure.
Carlton and
So
Diamond.
Diamond.
Diamond. Yeah,
He,
that's
he
it.
banged dudes before he
That
met
was
her,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
That blow up was
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
I don't f with bitches. Like
So he used to bang dudes. Would that be a problem for you, Dom? Like, what if Jared used to bang dudes? What
That's
if
his
Jared,
cover-up
What
as
if
a
Jared used to bang
gynecologist?
dudes, but and then he came in and he's like,
Come on.
look, I used to bang dudes, but like, I want to be with you. Would that be a
Okay,
problem?
you gotta give this answer on the mic.
Process. Why no? I don't want to get.
Why do you
Oh my
lie
God.
though?
But he didn't lie.
He didn't lie.
He didn't lie.
He was just nervous to tell her.
He just
Which
left it out.
which is understandable though. On the first date, you're not gonna roll up and be like, hey, by the way, I used to.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna say that.
You could have just said, "Yeah, I'm a bisexual."
He
But
could have.
even
But
even that
First date
after
I
show
go.
where that.
But I think she acted like a total bitch.
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think she
Fuck
took it a
with
little-
bitches
little
like
overboard.
you.
That guy's actually pretty funny.
I like that guy. He was good.
yeah, the cut scenes don't help. Who knows
Yeah.
the reality? What
who knows
actually
what
happens
actually
there?
said.
But
I mean, it is for TV.
that was still
but-
hilarious.
yeah.
That was great.
Even that in that reunion show, that last episode, man, when he got down on one knee, I was like, "This is so awkward."
Oh,
like,
that was messed
he's
up.
like, this is for my friendship or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck, you're awkward.
That made me uncomfortable at home. Like, I was like, Jesus.
Or, dude, you know what was good about that? The
What's
wrap-up
that?
show was like when the Amber chick was like, I think you're fake and you're a
Yeah.
bitch and like you're going after my man. And
Yeah.
then
Oh,
Jessica
yeah, that was
like took
aggressive.
the total high road. She's
Yeah.
like, I
Whatever.
apologize. And, and then it made that
She
Amber
was-
chick
she
Plug
was
the
like a
Fifth
total
Amendment
cunt.
right there.
Jessica wasn't drunk at the time.
Yeah.
She's such a bitch, though.
I didn't like that Amber chick either. She was like the army chick,
she's-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was no bueno.
Buddy was just stoked because she was hot. He's like, yes.
Yeah.
And then the 20K and
Gets
dad
her
came
home.
up
Oh,
and he's
shit.
like,
She's hot.
yeah.
Well, the only thing he's probably thinking is, well, I can save the 20K on a boob job because she already had it done.
Well, I guess he's probably having to pay for it anyways.
Yeah, because that's where all the
Yeah.
credit card debt came from.
Yeah.
Getting some fake tatas.
Student loans.
What about Tam? What if Riley had said he was?
She said she was cool with it.
I told
You're
him
cool
that,
with it?
like, I'd be cool with it, but like I'd chirp him.
Okay, you gotta say that in the microphone. Come on. Can't hear you.
You're blocking the camera.
Oh,
We're on that. We're not on that view anyway. We're not on that view anyway. Don't worry about it.
Speak up.
Yeah, good. You're good
I'm
now.
just gonna go over here. It's easier. I said I'd be cool with it, but I'd probably chirp him. Maybe like stick some stuff up his butt. like a lot.
Like a lot. Stick some stuff up his butt. Like
Oh, you
a
like
lot.
that? Who's this remind you of?
But if it was first date, we know.
Yeah.
So would you want Riley to tell you right away, or how long you guys been dating?
This is a
3 years now?
hypothetical. Let's just get that out.
Yeah.
Hypothetical.
So, say
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Riley.
Hypothetically.
What does hypothetically mean? 'Cause
Hypothetically.
to some people, they have no idea.
It's not true, but if it were.
If yes, so it's not true. We'll get that out on the air right now. Riley Milsap.
But maybe it is.
If he
Hypothetically, it is
hypothetically,
true.
Are we about to have a Dr. Phil show right now?
God, I hope not.
if Riley hypothetically took it up the bum before, would you want him to tell you right away or
Wait a few
years in your
weeks.
relationship?
What if he told you on his deathbed?
How far?
You can't really do anything about it then. You just
How,
kind of gotta accept it.
how early is too early, but how late is
I
too
would
late?
say
And-
definitely by like fourth or fifth date. Especially if
Wow.
things are like going good and if we were just seeing each other.
We're past
But
that
so
point,
you would accept him on
How long
the
did
What
fifth
if he
date?
came out right now and said it? What if he came out right now and said it?
Oh, I fucking have to like take it, I guess. Like, I don't really have a choice. I'd still love him.
Aw, thanks.
Just more things to make fun of him.
Is Riley
Yeah,
blushing over
literally.
there? Is he
Yeah,
blushing?
am I blushing?
Oh, you can zoom in on that thing?
Nope, not. That'd be awkward.
I can't believe you can zoom on
The
that.
pressure's
That's
on.
hilarious.
Well, shit. Anyone else watch
Questions?
anything interesting?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Well,
Yeah, what
I
about
watched that
the-
Wacko show. It was pretty good.
I was gonna start that last night.
What?
Waco.
Waco, bro.
Yeah.
Waco.
Not
Wacko.
Wacko Zacko.
There were some wackos in Waco, though.
I want to know ASA.
So there were some wackos in Waco.
That was a
I'm
good
far
show.
away from the
Too
mic.
many dudes to still take him.
How many
That's
girls
the
is too many
question.
girls?
Yeah.
Okay, this is getting a little.
Yeah, it's just
hand-
going sideways. What the fuck's we got so many different conversations.
Yeah.
Difference.
Yeah.
What do you guys usually talk about here? You just kind of wing it. You just kind of.
Do you not listen to our
Just wing it.
podcast?
No, I do, but like
Thanks.
talking to you earlier, you kind of just sometimes you have not a script, but questions beforehand.
Yeah, it depends on how like we know you guys so well. We can just like free flowing conversation. If it's like when we did Colton and Dylan, we kind of had some questions
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
in
we
mind.
don't even have to put it out. Like this could have been a total disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just
For a reason to
yeah.
hang out.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun.
Live streaming this whole time.
I did forget to turn the Facebook feed off.
I'd be all right with that.
It's fine. We haven't really. There's not really that much editing to do.
We haven't crossed the line too much.
No,
it's fine.
The worst part's like when I hit that thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. So, what do you guys think of the Bent Methods experience?
It's been fun.
It's good.
It's pretty fun.
I enjoy
Just
it.
like
I like my little microphone condom.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Coronavirus. We can't be speaking moistly on the mic.
Yeah, this is
Keep 'em
to
clean.
prevent.
Are these disposable?
I'd like you to take those home, wash them, bring them back,
Understood.
place them on the exact mics they're
Yeah.
on right now. So label
What am I
it.
mic for? Is this mic
Sanitize.
for?
He's Matt.
You're
Matt.
just Matt.
Matt.
Hey,
This
Matt.
is Mike Matt.
Mike Matt.
Right on.
Coming to you live from
Do
the Possum
you
Hole.
girls have any questions for us?
Any questions?
Will you ever get into TikTok?
No. Chinese propaganda.
I watch TikTok, but I don't think I ever. Actually, I was in Tam's TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, that's true.
Try to get your
Some of the
Chris and I are
this
gonna
is the worst.
I
Some
didn't
of the
really
videos are
participate too much, though. I was just playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is going along with Matt's question.
Do the microphone.
Yeah, get a microphone on you. Here.
funny. We have someone calling in.
From a 2 meter distance.
Essentially, like,
You gotta get right in there.
okay, hey.
No,
can
there
you
we
hear
go.
me?
That's better.
Okay. Am I gonna be
Speak into the
okay.
microphone.
speaking? It's really close.
It has to be.
That's where it's supposed to be.
But Matt was talking moistly.
Oh well.
He was speaking moist. Speaking.
Okay, my question is, how far are you willing to take motocross?
I think we already kind of answered that. Didn't
But
we?
like, how do you know when it's the end?
I think. Yeah, I think I kind of
Just
touched
because,
on
like,
that a little bit.
even Jared said, like, each day or every race, like, you're making new goals, but like, how do you know when it's the end?
Well, yeah, like you said, Jared, like, okay, this year I got top 10. So, like, that was your goal, and you achieved it. Now, like,
Thank you
say
very
this
much.
year is top 5. Say you achieve your goal. So, is then next year top 3s? Like, does it just keep going
And
until
then-
there's nothing to achieve?
yeah, and then-
or, like,
and then say you don't achieve your goal.
and then at what point are you just like,
yeah.
well, maybe that's not achievable. Like, maybe it's time to hang it up.
I don't know. I think, yeah, what I was saying like earlier, you can kind of get lost in it. You can kind of get a bit delusional. And I don't know, maybe you don't see it's hard. I don't know how you see it if you don't see
Maybe
it.
one
If
day
you-
you'll
if
just
you
be
still-
like,
if you still believe, you still believe. Even if it's like the most ridiculous thing ever. Maybe I can be fucking president. I don't know.
Not in Canada, sir.
Whatever.
Do you think you're more likely to quit after achieving a goal or from like an injury?
It's hard to say.
You
Yeah.
know,
I feel like
kicking you out of it.
I feel like leaving after achieving a goal is a better way to go out. Like, but at the same time, it just
But I
like
feel like
leaves
if-
you wanting more.
that's what I think. I feel like if you achieve
Leaves-
your goal, you're going to make a new one. And
Yeah.
after you make your new one, if you quit, you're like, well, I didn't achieve my goal.
Yeah, and then
Well,
you're
I
gonna.
think
It's gonna.
it's like it's a perfect example of you quit pretty like indefinitely at one point,
Yeah.
and obviously you felt like something was left on the table, so you came back. So, I mean, if I were to answer it, I think it's just like when you know, or you know when you know, like you just. I feel like I'm just gonna know, but
You
I-
feel
I-
like that.
But I'm also kind of in a different position where like I got a good opportunity. I can actually call it like a career and a job and something that puts food on the table for me at least. But so I don't know.
Yeah.
Why not do it? And when the time comes where I'm like, yep.
Yeah, it's just hard to find that line where you say, okay, enough is enough, or how do you find the line where you say you can't accomplish anymore, or where you know, but deep down you know you can accomplish more? It's just such a fine line of being like, you believe in yourself or you're delusional. It's like one or the other. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, I got a deep question for you guys. Kind of on the same topic. Is the memories that you've maybe missed out on hanging out with the people that aren't racing, is dirt biking going to be worth it in the end more than like making memories with all your friends while they are making memories and while you guys are racing? Because you guys do miss out on a lot of stuff that we all do because you're racing, which is fine because it's your choice to race. So you need to do what you want. But are those things that you missed out on? Is the racing going to be like make up for it?
Yeah, I guess you could say like you only have a limited window to do to race at the highest level of your abilities. And I guess kind of in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I have the rest of my life to make memories with my friends, but maybe that's not always there. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Keelan?
I think, well, that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about, like, one of the things I cherish most about the sport is being able to experience it with the friends that I had made. And that's the hardest thing, is when your friends aren't in it. But for me, like, can't just fucking quit, like, at least at this point. I mean, I could, but it's just like, yeah, when you believe, you believe.
Yeah.
But like, you know what is a perfect example, and it's funny because you're here, is like when you kind of called me out when I went to Ironman, and it's like being like, hey man, like Jared would love to have you at his bachelor party and stuff, and like maybe this race isn't really worth it, which honestly, like, I agree. It's like, I could go race an AMA national when I'm 35 if I wanted to. Probably could, but it was just a little bit different situation where it was something that was planned. It was already like the entry was already paid for, yada yada yada. But the point being is, like, or what I'm getting at is that like really wore on me, because like I miss all that stuff because I don't have the opportunity to spend all that time with my friends, because yeah, you guys just aren't really there anymore. So yeah, I don't know, it's a tough balance, like, because it's something like I love to do, and I'm very grateful that like Jared's making a run at it again, and it's something that I get to enjoy with a friend. And I was kind of hoping that like Todd would kind of like make a real good run at it too, because it was like, dude, one of the best years of my life was when like I was traveling the country with my three buddies, you know, like it's just so, this is just for me, you know, like, and like I said, like when I'm away from it, I'm not me, you know, and that's where it's like, that's something I got to work on sooner or later so that I can transition away from it. But a day doesn't go by where it doesn't cross my mind that I'm like, man, like there's so much more to this, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I could say the same thing to you guys, maybe not you guys, but other people, like, or maybe I could, I don't know, but I could be like, don't you guys feel like maybe you're missing out on something? Like, or don't you feel like maybe you had more to put on the table? Like you always, like, every other person in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s that I talk to in this day and age are like, oh man, that's great what you're doing. Like, good for you. Like, I wish I had opportunities like that. Like, why didn't I? Like, I'm good for you, man. Like I think that's cool, you know? So
yeah, it's kind of like a tug of war between like, okay, yeah, I do wish I could hang out with you guys more and do that stuff, but I want to be doing what I'm doing. So it's like, I don't know, it's like a fine line to walk. And I think if you can find a bit of a balance, like where we can still hang out and stuff, and you know, you can still go racing, and like there's the whole winter to hang out. And I don't know, there's so many variables to it. It's a difficult thing.
Yeah, it's tough, but I don't know. Like, yeah, we're all our own people, and we're all doing our thing, and it might not totally align, but I mean, for me, like, to be really honest with you guys, like, I fucking enjoy, like, when I get to spend time with you guys, I like cherish it so much more now, because I know when
it's just a good point.
It's like me and myself and I just doing my thing, and I got nobody to do it with. I'm like kind of miserable, because I'm like, I love what I'm doing, but it's like, man, like it's just you miss it, you know? So like I cherish that I get to do what I'm doing, but I cherish the opportunity to be able to hang out with my friends that I rarely get to see.
Yeah, so I got a hypothetical for you. If you could be on a factory race team all by yourself, you're the only guy, all the resources, anything you want, or you got a race team with your 3 buddies, which one are you doing next year?
That's tough.
Well, you know what's like, I think it's cool that I like to be able to answer a question like that, because man, all like last year I was like I deserve to be on one of these fucking teams. Like I may not have gotten a podium yet, but I'm like literally nipping at the heels of the dudes that are on the box. Like I get 4s and 5s every other weekend, and even a bad weekend where I like crash, I'm claw my way back up to 6th. And so I was like, for the longest time, I'm like, I fucking deserve this. And nothing came, like, obviously. And the only, like, people in the sport that believed in me was the Carlson team. And I kind of, like, just, I don't know, I had a good maybe week or 2 weeks where I was like, you know what, like, this is just where I belong. Like, if I keep trying to strive for something else, I'm just not going to be happy in the moment. And so I feel like I'm on the best team. And like, so to answer that question, I think.
So the best team is the best team for you, not the best team in the public's eye.
In the public's eye, it's just like a tiny little shitbox team. But when I look at it now, or I should say like a shitbox. But like honestly, that's like I think that's how people might actually view it. Is it's like
not a semi.
It's a substandard.
They're out of a dually and a little toy hauler. Like it's whatever. But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like, and honestly, if you probably ask like 10 people, probably 5 out of those 10 people would call it a little shitbox team. Like with the riders that we have and whatever. Like, not. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm digging myself a hole here. It's just like everybody like just the sport takes people for granted. But I think on my team, like the teammates that I have, I think like. Davey Frazier is one of the nicest dudes I've ever met, and probably one of my best friends. Wyatt Waddell, the kid is absolutely hilarious. And Casey Keast is like his own dude, but like I just hope to see the kid progress and meet his potential. But it's like, I just think it's like that's where I belong now. And I fit into that team. And that's just where I should finish out my career if I have that opportunity to do so. But yeah, like if I were to choose to be on a team with my friends or a factory team, I think if I was able to compete at my best on both possible teams, I'd pick the team with my friends.
Where you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, like if I knew I could hop on equipment that was good with my friends and hop on equipment that I knew was good with the factory team, I'd probably pick it with my friends. Like it was really cool being under the semi last year, and it helps a lot. But I think it was just good to get that opportunity to do it, to be under the tent, just to know like what the benefits are from being under like a semi. And now I can pull everything I learned from there and just put it into my own little package, and I'm good. Like I don't need it. So, but I don't know. That just goes back to like, yeah, we all got into this sport for like the reason to just have fun and be able to build ourselves
as people and grow and make memories and friends along the way. And like, that's what I love the most about it. Like, still to this day, my favorite race was, I might get in trouble for this if somebody like listens to it that shouldn't listen to it, but my favorite race was at Drumheller one year. I think Matt was there. You were there. Todd was there. I can't remember if you were there, Riley. But we're all drinking in between motos and like
cracking a beer. Yeah, I remember that. I think you were there, weren't you?
Probably.
Were you there, Riley?
I think I did.
I think we're all camping out. It was like a long weekend,
Yeah,
double
it's like
header.
2014 maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been.
I think most of us were like racing
I've
pro
still
or
been
pro.
racing.
We raced the
Am.
West Nationals or I didn't even race that year. I don't think.
I think it was 2011.
2013.
That's when.
Oh, yeah,
that's
no,
when
it was
Yashik was there
2013.
too.
I had a shoulder surgery, so I didn't even race.
Is that the year
year?
you and I were racing in intermediate against each other?
No, that was. I think we were still racing together, but that's not the. I don't think I drove out with you.
I think
can't
we were
remember
all
that.
there though.
Wow.
Yeah, we were all there.
That was
definitely
like,
were.
dude, that was like, I like, if there's any provincial race I remember, there's two of them that I remember vividly in my head. It was that one, because like it was just all hanging out. There's no pressure. We'd like crack a beer between motos, maybe some of us more than others. And
The names.
yeah. And it was just like fun. The track was sick, and like eating burgers at A&W or hanging out down by the river and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that was
because
fun.
Was that the year we went and met Azare? And
Yeah.
Yeah,
raced
yeah.
down in the river there.
Yeah, and he was like showing us around and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I don't know. It was just something
Got
about
hooked right up.
the vibe about that
Yeah.
weekend was fun. Then the only other race that stands out in my mind is I cased a jump at Alex, and my dick got so swollen that it like I gained a few, or well, I shouldn't say a few inches. I gained maybe an inch. It was good.
It was good.
I'll
It was
never-
good.
Yeah, it was good.
It
It
was
was
good.
sore, but it was good.
Would recommend.
Yeah. Over jump the big table and land on your gas cap.
Yeah.
Was the girlfriend a little nicer to you that week, or
Dude,
No,
I was
he's
like
single.
13. Maybe like 14. I don't know.
Sloan wasn't around back
No.
then.
Grew an inch. That's just called a boner at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't grow. It just went up.
All right. Anything else, you guys? Okay.
Well, I had a question, but
Come
it's
here.
kind of long gone now.
Come here.
Well,
Come here.
We have Bill's question. We get Bill's question.
Those
Get her a 2 meter mic.
Yeah, stay away.
But I live with him.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, well, state that for the audience.
Disclaimer.
We live together.
Okay, but you guys are like way past this topic now.
You can go back.
What's the
Okay,
topic?
my question was for Jared.
Me.
Yeah,
You're
because
okay.
Keelan mentioned how you took a step back from racing completely indefinitely and you didn't think you were going to come back. Do you think that if I wasn't racing and you weren't always at the races and always at the track with me, that you would have come back to racing at all?
Has this question been asked before?
No, actually not.
He would have come back for me.
I don't know. I think I still would have, because like you guys have said, all my best friends are at the track. They all race. That's like the community I grew up in. Does anyone here have any friends from high school?
No.
I have one.
One?
I don't count. You're the youngest.
I mean, I talk to Luke once in a while. That's it. I have one
yeah.
friend I talk to
I
like
have one
once
friend
every
I
3
talk
months.
to that's not from motocross, probably.
Yeah, like all my friends are in the community. What do we do on weekends? We watch the races. Like it's just like so embedded in what we do, and
It's a mental illness. We
I-
just
yeah,
bikes.
I don't.
I went right there, bikes.
I mean, I think that probably like being at the races is different than watching him, but I still think there is something inside me that knows like
You wanted to do it.
I want to do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I didn't like deep inside me know I wanted to do it and really want to do it. So I guess that's my
And f***ing why not?
Yeah,
Like,
like-
you know, these dickheads spend all their money on mountain bikes. We'll
Whoa.
spend ours on
Whoa.
dirt bikes.
whoa, calm down.
Do you guys view motocross?
Sorry, I
as-
didn't really mean to claim
That's
these
all
dickheads.
Actually, what do you view motocross as? A hobby, a career? What do you view it as?
A lifestyle.
Get that off the mic.
That is cringy. I think it's like on the line of like a hobby. It's like a hobby, but it's like you almost have to be competitive and like at the highest level in Canada, you almost have to treat it like a job too.
Expensive passion.
Yeah. Keelan, obviously, I know Keelan treats it like a career for sure.
Nope. I quit.
He's done. He's not going to go for his first round.
Yeah, I can't handle it. I can't afford the
double
EPO
header
or
first
HG.
round.
Yeah, just looked up how much it is.
First round double
First
header
round,
go
double
for
header.
July.
Dude, that's like Raymond double headers start off every so up.
In the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well just have some ambulances lined up.
Yeah.
'cause
Line
That's
them
the way
up.
it's gonna go.
This, if you pay Tam enough, she'll come give you some IV bags in between motos.
That's what we're talking about.
What?
Yeah, no.
Whisper in the wind?
Is there even rules in Canada about that shit?
No.
Hell no.
Is there drug testing in Canada?
No.
Hell no. Dude, you could be on EPO coming out of your eyeballs and they'd be like,
Look
Give her.
at
Oh, you look like you're gonna win this weekend. That's,
just juiced out of your mind. They would have no idea.
A guy that can't get out of his rental car and has a giant forehead is probably on drugs.
Okay,
Okay,
Coach Ed.
Victoria.
Talking to that, Mike. You guys are housemates.
So you guys talk a lot about setting goals. How do you handle it when you realize that you've set an unachievable goal?
Oh, wow.
Never happened. I don't know. You just like.
You just keep working. Till
I think
it's
you have to
achieved.
be. I think the biggest thing is you have to be realistic with your goal setting. You can't set goals that you know are gonna crush you. Like if you set a goal like I want to win the championship this year, you're just gonna be crushed when it doesn't happen. You just have to be realistic with your goal setting. And I mean, if say I set a goal to be top 5 and it doesn't happen, you just have to reevaluate the whole thing and kind of realize, okay,
Why it didn't happen.
why it didn't happen? Is it unrealistic? Is it realistic? Do I have to focus more energy here? Do I have to focus more energy there?
See, I think exactly what you're talking about there is like you have to hold yourself accountable and
Yes.
find out why you didn't meet the goal, but you can't beat yourself up
For
too
not
much
meeting
about
it.
not
Yeah,
meeting that,
you'll
'cause
crush.
it
You'll
will
run
just-
yourself into the ground.
You'll never be able to achieve another goal in your life if you just crush yourself over it every time.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you could say my goal is to achieve top 5, and then all of a sudden, last minute top 5 of the AMA riders are coming to race Canada.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's I think it's tough for you guys because you guys don't really know who's going to be there come the first gate drop.
It's kind of true. What do you think, Keelan, about that question?
My answer is going to sound cocky,
Go ahead.
even though I don't think it's cocky.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. I just don't get phased by people coming up to Canada anymore.
That wasn't the question.
I don't.
though.
No,
I don't-
that wasn't the question though.
The
Like,
question is what
Well, no,
what
I
happens
just-
if
well,
you
I
make
was
a
kinda-
goal that you can't reach.
oh no, I know what you're saying. Though.
Yeah, it's because I thought he was
Yeah.
kind of.
No, I know what you're saying.
You
Though.
can't
Like,
going off
focus
what I
on
said.
that.
you have to be like, okay, I gotta ride within the best of my abilities, and most like when people come to Canada, like, what was it? Who was that one guy that came one year? Is like everyone's like, oh,
Cody
freaking out.
Lata.
No, not Cody the Top. You're
250 or 450?
250 race my class. Everyone's like, oh, he's gonna
Chris Fortune.
no. Some guy from the States.
Borgenhagen?
What?
No.
Was it 100?
Someone come to Calgary only.
Oh,
Someone that trained
Ben
with
Evans.
Ben
Ben
Evans.
Evans,
Everyone's
that's what it
freaking out. Oh, Ben Evans is gonna come clean up. I whooped his ass. Like I wasn't like not to sound like that's obviously
No,
it sounds cocky, but
It's
we
just
know
different.
these. It's different. Like we know these tracks. We've
the
raced
only
these
one
tracks
that
so many
really
times.
came to Canada and smoked everyone was Milsap's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he admitted, he said he came in like preparing for, like he wasn't
But
going to
he
just come
didn't.
sweet.
He didn't smoke everybody though.
He did it some rounds, but not
There-
all, not
he,
the whole
he
series.
only it was like Dakotas too. Like some rounds it was like
But, like,
holy
it-
crap.
It hasn't happened very often that American come up win the championship his first year and go back.
Well, look at
Yeah.
Look how
Like,
many
that doesn't
times
really
Law
happen.
beat Americans,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
that didn't really happen. Okay, no, but the
all the
original
time. He
question
beat
was
Huffman all the time. He beat. Wall spanked a bunch
Look
of
at
them. there 'cause he tried to
Fasciotti.
come up.
Fasciotti,
Yeah.
like we talked about on that podcast, Fasciotti. Like the question I asked him is like, how do you deal with all these you got guys like
just can't change
big name guys, like factory guys coming out of the States. We got Metcalf, you got Gerke, you got all these guys, Milsaps. How does he deal with all that? He's like, he just knows he has the advantage on the tracks.
Yeah.
He knows the tracks.
Yeah. Well, and you can't
change your program for those guys coming in.
You can't.
And you can't just assume that those guys got you. Like it's different for like, let's say Colton, but you can't just assume because they're an American that they're going to be quick. Like
100%.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. There's how many guys that have been decent, like good riders in the States come to Canada and just like 20th place. It's been a lot of them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Question.
My question is for Keelan.
These days.
So I asked Jared if he would still be racing if I didn't race back in 2015 when he quit. Keelan, you date somebody who doesn't race, has never really ridden a dirt bike. I don't know if she has ridden a dirt bike at all. What if she did?
Nope. Wouldn't be racing.
Well, like, do you ever wish that Sloan did race or dirt bike? No. Why?
Because it's for me. It's my thing.
What?
So you're saying this escape?
It's my jam. Yeah, we talked about this. It's just.
So when you
bring
start
my bitch to the track, it wrecks my vibe.
She's slowing you down.
Sloan.
I'm just joking.
Just like Dylan Epstein. Doesn't bring his horse to the track.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like too in my own head to be able to share that with somebody else. I see what you guys have, and I'm not envious. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm just joking. But no, I don't know.
Does she give you a hard time about being away with the dirt bikes all the time?
Well, yeah. So, like, what was the last question again? Because I never really got
setting
that.
goals
And not achieving them. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so despite Sloan not being a dirt biker, she is, apparently a phenomenal coach. So
apparently
a phenomenal dirt bike coach. No, I actually love Sloan for this because she's like not afraid to speak her mind and kind of like keeps me accountable because I'm kind of in my own little world a little bit. And she actually asked me the other day because like I mean we're moving along and everybody's grown up and I mean I'm kind of still stuck in my little la la land of thinking I'm gonna be a kid for however many more years and she's like you're not getting better. And I was like ow. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I mean you get the same freaking result every year. And
that's exactly how she said it.
And I was like, no. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, here's a plaque that says 8. Here's a plaque that says 7. Here's a plaque that says 6. So I am getting better. And so and we were kind of joking about it, and she's like, well, I mean, like those aren't really leaps and bounds. Like I mean, you put however much work in each year, and your goal is to be this, but you've been getting this. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. Like, I mean, like last year, I probably would have had top 5 if I didn't have DNFs and all these issues and stuff like that. That just happens. But if you look at my results on paper, and if you were to eliminate the DNFs, like I was kind of like a top 5 guy and top 6. Like that was kind of like my average score, and with a couple bad motos in there, but I told her the exact same thing. It's like when you believe, like you just keep going, and as soon as you stop believing, like yeah, you're done. And she's like, well, when's that going to be? And I was like, I hate these questions. and I was like, I don't know, Sloan, but I can tell you this, like, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm just going to achieve my shit, and it's going to happen. And you're going to get what you want out of this. I'm going to get what I want. We're all going to be good. And that wasn't a good answer, I guess, either. So I'm not very good at talking to women, apparently. But yeah, I don't know. And maybe I'm a bit delusional with it all, but it's like, I don't know, man. You guys and your questions. Yeah. But yeah, no, she keeps me accountable and gives me a hard time about it, and it kind of puts stuff into perspective that it's not forever and there's not a lot of time left, and with the little time that I probably do have left to do it at the capacity that I am doing it, that I better do it to the best of my abilities, because I mean, there's a time where you got to grow up and move on to the next chapter, and yeah, and I don't want to move on to that next chapter with those regrets. So, but this is my commitment to my life, where I told Jared this. I was like, I'm living my life in thirds. I'm going to live till I'm 90. When I'm 90, I'm done.
Your 90th birthday, you're pulling the plug.
Yeah. Whatever that's going to be, I don't know. So
It's
30?
your 90th birthday. You know exactly when it's gonna be.
What it's gonna be, like how I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Okay.
How
not when. We know when. We can mark the calendar.
Yeah, we'll get Tam to unplug the saline bags and put something else in there.
Heroin.
Still nursing when she's 90.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
the first third is dirt biking or what?
Yeah, the first third is just living up my youthful years, because, like, I mean, man, until you're 30, like, that's when you can rip. Like, you're 30? Just, huh?
When are you 30?
I got
2 years.
3 years.
3 years.
2 years. 3 years. I don't know.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, you can rip till you're 30, and then it's like when I'm 30,
Back class.
30 till 60. Yeah,
that's what I'm waiting for.
we shift the gears.
You gotta build a financial backbone.
No, vet class.
Okay. Oh, so you're gonna. This is your whole life is just in racing thirds. Yeah. Racing thirds.
Yeah.
Pre-vet class, vet class, post-vet class. Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm gonna race again until I can race vet.
Vet class seems fun because it's like
That'd be
it's so
sick.
mellow.
I want to go rip it
Isn't
up
there a
in
plus
25?
plus 25 class?
vet. At Supersat?
No,
I think so.
No.
You have to be 30.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna get my butt kicked. I want to like go to vet class and
like
fuck up some old dudes. Yeah.
I don't want to go to the vet class and get beat by like some 45-year-old guy though.
No, it's
Still
not
suck.
happening. That's like Dolman's racing or something, or Cerny.
Nah, they're starting to taper off. You got it, I believe. Yeah, man. Live your life in thirds. Till you're 30, flip the switch, pop out some kids, fire up the business.
Fire up the vet class races.
Fire up the vet class races.
Just fire up a business like that, eh?
Yeah.
Get
the beer gut going.
According to your plan on firing out the kids at 30, some people got some work to do over here.
Who?
I didn't say that. That was my next question.
No,
Keelan said that.
we're timing it, so we all have kids at the same time, and my kid's gonna win.
They're gonna be arch
Who's
rivals.
we?
No way, dude.
Arch rivals.
No way.
No, all of us. We're all planning it out.
Okay, we all gotta have kids at the same. We gotta all conceive on the same day.
We'll just have a big group chat.
Yeah.
Okay, conceive.
We'll do it on a podcast.
No, we'll go to a hotel. We'll like meet in the lobby and be like, all
Okay,
right.
I got a question for Dom and Jared.
Hey, get in here.
I got a question for you and Jared.
Uh-oh.
As Tracy would say, have you been practicing for having a kid? No, Tracy asked that you guys can practice.
Did she?
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
You would.
So it was the day after the wedding, and it was like, were you there, Tam?
Yeah.
It was like me, Tam, Dom, I don't know where you were. It was like Jerry and Tracy and like maybe like your grandma or something. I don't know. I think maybe they were loading Parker into the van or something like that. Anyways, and so Tracy's like, oh, like when are you guys having kids? And they're like, Dom's like, oh, like we want to wait a year or whatever. And she's like, well, you better get practicing.
He said that.
Yeah, and Jerry's like, the fuck did you just say? Like, what are you talking about? I see Jerry's face is like,
what is wrong with you?
Good thing Jared's a gynecologist.
I said I'm not a gynecologist.
So
He's got that thing perfectly
though.
prepped.
When are you guys having kids?
When's the conception date?
This has come up a few times now on this podcast.
No, it's gonna be
Like 2020 are you starting or 2021?
What's the date today?
Wednesday, April 29th.
Just play.
What year?
Just play
2020.
roulette.
2020.
Set a date
It's
like
2020.
every like 6 months.
This would be like my motocross goals. Okay, I'll just like keep pushing them back.
No, you gotta live your life in third.
Exactly.
You gotta have one kid in the first third, another kid in the second third.
You're kidding. Yeah. The second one might be kind of hard.
Yeah, once you're 60, I don't think it happens.
Well, 32
freeze
60.
the eggs.
Yeah, one before
Freeze
30,
them up.
one
Oh yeah, that could work.
30 to 60, and
Just
one
not
afterwards.
just not the third. Third.
I got a question.
For who?
You and Dom.
Well, my question never really got answered.
That's what my question is. Can you answer right?
When are we having kids? You decide. I don't know.
You decide. I'll be there that day.
I'll
But you
show
decide.
Do you know what horoscope you want?
What gender is it gonna
What?
be?
What are you talking about? Horoscopes? Who gives a fuck about
Are
horoscopes?
you guys gonna have a coronavirus baby?
No.
No, hey, no. This is what you guys actually should do: is just leave it up to fate. Roulette. You just
roll the dice.
yes, set,
No, here's
set
what you
some
gotta
dates
do.
like every 6
I
months.
actually
It's like,
brought
all
this up.
right.
Another question for Keelan.
Okay, here we go. Here's a question for
When
Keelan.
you go into the next step with Sloan?
They
Well, they just
What's
moved
the
in
next
together.
step?
You moved in together?
Marriage. 2 years you having kids.
What are you talking about? What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got a dog together. Where's
Pump the brakes. Well, we don't have a dog yet.
Couple days.
Pump the brakes.
A month.
A month.
Tam's got a
So,
countdown on her
other
phone.
than Todd getting married next, who's the next guy?
Chris.
No,
No.
Oh, sorry,
Maybe Matt.
sorry,
What about you,
I
Matt?
No.
No?
That's too
Still got a
expensive.
few more years of
Matthew
school.
Scott.
Oh yeah, Christy's not done school yet. I forget that she's like 21 sometimes.
Dang, yeah, I forget.
21.
27 height.
You know what's funny is when we're finished up our bike ride, and then Sloan and I were driving home. Oh, she's hilarious. I wish she hung out more. You guys would love her. She's great.
I do love her.
She's like, if any of these guys get married before we do, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I can see Sloan saying that.
She didn't exactly say it like that, but that's just how it processed in my brain. And
How long have you guys been dating for?
it'll be 7 years.
Oh.
And,
Yeah, you're ready, man.
They just moved in together last week.
Yeah.
Moving quick. Take it slow,
Yeah.
Keelan.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Whoa.
Hey, well, man, in my family, like everybody, like I had a cousin that dated his old lady for like 10 years before they got married.
You could live in sin like Ryan Pickford and just never get married.
Yeah, that's my jam, but not hers. So
I didn't know Ryan Pickford was married.
no, he's not.
No. They've been together for what, like 15 years or something?
Yeah, a long time. He's like, yeah, give her the ring. She's happy.
Never got married.
Really?
Just engaged forever.
Yeah.
Whose kid's gonna be faster? Jared's or Keelan's?
Mine. We have 2 motocross racers here. You have
Yeah, true. Mom and dad.
I got more endurance than both you.
Yeah, but you're forgetting about Sloan the coach.
Shit out of here. I have more agility.
Sloan has good fast twitch muscles.
I do
There's a
too.
spin bike right there.
I'm a
2
fast
spin
twitch
bikes.
muscle. What is it called? Fast twitch muscle fascia. Is that what it's called?
Let's
Mu-
get this
muscle
lift
fascia.
going.
Too fast, too twitch.
What?
Too fast, too twitch.
No.
Nah.
We're either like fast twitch muscles or like slow twitch.
There's
muscles,
also
right?
medium too, but I'm definitely fast twitch.
What does that mean? That you're explosive?
Like, yeah, more explosive.
Never been
What are you,
tested.
Dom? Explosive? Not explosive.
You're faster too. It's like smaller.
Are you fast
Thanks,
twitch?
husband.
Are you fast twitch or slow twitch?
I don't know.
So your kid's gonna get the whole shot, but my kid's gonna diesel on past yours.
Ryan
No, I think it's
Dungey.
gonna be the opposite.
No. You guys will be good and like your fast twitch muscles.
Are you guys gonna fight as parents?
Yes.
You gotta get married first so that our kids are actually the same age when we have kids and they can actually race
Yeah, no,
together.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys are both fast twitch muscles, like styles,
Yeah,
like
then-
if that's your makeup, you guys are gonna get the whole shot, check out.
But how
But
long
then
are
he's just
these
gonna-
amateur races? They're 6 minutes.
It don't matter until we get to the pros.
There's 6 minutes.
Yeah, it does. It's all about the amateurs.
No,
It's all about
no,
amateurs,
no,
man.
no.
Amateurs.
I ain't no.
Strong at the end of our moto, so our kid will diesel.
I ain't no.
You're the whole shot master. We don't get whole shots. That means our kid will diesel past your kid.
Have you ever
Every
dieseled
time.
past me,
Oh.
Dom?
I used to in junior.
That's not
Hey, who beat? Hey, I mean, just saying. When we did the sand moto, I did diesel on past
It
you
was
at the
pretty tight.
19:45 minute mark.
Past 2.
It's not even
Dom.
the same level.
You
Yeah,
passed
we did the
Dom?
rabbit and the hare race, or the whatever you call it.
Dom almost won.
How does that work? She
Starts like 2 laps ahead.
Like, we talk so slow that we're gonna try and catch it as many times as we can.
It was funny though, because we like did it.
I love that with my mom.
I actually had so much fun because I was like, I'm surprised how well that race worked out because I was like, yeah, we got a lap for like twice or something. Or was it 3 times? I don't know.
I think it was
3 times.
3 times maybe.
And it was a 20-minute race, and I like look at my watch, and it was like 18 minutes, and she's like fucking 3/4 a lap ahead. I was like, fuck, no, and I just like book it, and
Just
then
cut the track.
I just like,
Yeah,
dude,
I
I
think
pinned
it
it.
did.
I pinned it so hard, and then I got up like right behind her, and then she like stalls, and then I ran into the back of her, and then I look at my watch again, and I was like, oh shit, Dom almost won. It was like 19 minutes and 45 seconds.
But
But
she did it.
it was fun.
I love being that person for them.
Hey, but you
It's
gotta
good.
admit that you're probably like stepped it up with practicing, right?
Probably.
Like, even when-
yesterday.
Yeah, even when you two
You're
were doing it
kidding.
yesterday, that was good.
Did you do it at your house?
Yeah.
Dude, how was Jerry's house?
It's pretty gnarly. It took a lot of work. Like we spent probably 4 hours in the Bobcat and Keelan was chainsawn. Took quite a bit of work to get it
Did
going.
you guys get some laps in?
Oh yeah, we did quite a bit of riding after.
Yeah, it's fun.
But
What's
it was
the lap time like?
maybe a
I
minute
don't know,
20.
but
Minute 20.
We did like fucking like 40-minute motos.
Yeah,
Not
I-
even phased.
Yeah, I did like
It was like, oh man.
same with your house. I've been doing like 50-minute motos.
Running out of gas.
I almost ran out of gas.
That's all the EPO you've been doing.
Oh yeah, EPOing it up. All right, folks. Anything else? Any other final words?
My kids.
We're
gonna
what?
win.
Our kid's gonna win.
We're what? 3 hours deep.
Damn.
Damn. All right.
Exactly
Thanks, guys, for
3
coming on. It's a good
Thank
time.
you.
It's always
Thanks for
fun.
having us.
Yeah, it's fun. Maybe we should make this a regular segment,
I'm down.
like a monthly
This is
segment. Or something.
our-
It's fun.
This is our 15 pack of people.
It's
10 pack.
yeah. I mean, it's nice to have people like us where we've known each other for so long. It's
Pretty easy to get a conversation
Yeah.
struck up.
Like we would just do this otherwise anyway, right? We'd
Yeah, it'd either be down here, like in your living room,
or at the
talk
fire
about
or
the same
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for having us. I seen your time lapse video of setting up.
It's quite the
Seems-
operation.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like
Oh.
quite a bit of work.
You never answered my question.
What's that?
Didn't you get it on the Instagram there?
Oh,
you
how
said
much
that-
can I bench press?
Yeah.
About 15 pounds, dude. I don't know. I don't do fucking bench press to max.
Well, then you're not
That's-
training for
that's
motocross.
good.
'Cause it's bench press.
I can
and
arm curl 75, bro.
Yeah, it's arm curls and bench press.
Yeah.
We'll get you in the best motocross shape.
Oh no, what was Dom's question? Did you see it? Let's see if I can pull
Who
it
was
up.
that super ripped rider? Was that Paul Carpenter back in the day?
He was jacked.
Yeah,
He
he
was-
had. Was he like an MMA fighter? He had like cauliflower ear and everything.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Maybe he was short, but fuck, he was ripped.
Okay, Dom had a question for Keelan. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick.
Can you imagine arm pump you get?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But he was on the podium all the time.
Fucking pissed me off now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Paul, yeah.
Okay, what will the atmospheric pressure be for YYC Toronto?
What was it? 221?
No, 102.5, bro.
Huh?
Is it not the same every day?
No.
Keelan's.
I was fucking with her yesterday. She's like, my shock feels weird. I was like, oh, well, what? I was like, what's the atmospheric pressure? She's like, what?
That changes.
And I was like, well, if, or I like didn't even get to it, but then I was like,
He kept breaking down.
yeah, I kept laughing. I was like, well, I mean, most shock tuners, they'll tune for what? Yeah,
102.5.
It's like most shock tuners will tune for 101.2. But if it goes up to like 101.3, it might make your shock feel a little bit softer. So you have to tune accordingly. But even like it took her a while to clue in because I was like, I'm fucking with you.
Well, sometimes you'll say outlandish shit like that.
The
and be
atmospheric pressure.
No, I knew you were full of shit.
I know. It's because I couldn't even get it out. I was laughing too hard.
Oh man.
Oh, good
I
time.
started laughing right away.
You guys should get like Elon Musk on here and smoke a joint with
Let's
him
do
or
that.
something.
Yeah.
Let's send him a
Oh.
DM. Let's send him a DM. Or see if
Yeah.
he wants to come on.
Maybe Donald Trump.
DJT. Get him on Skype.
Could you imagine?
No, he just pissed me
747
off.
pulls up at Calgary Airport. Off comes Donald Trump.
Okay, last
Where does
topic.
Jared live?
Last topic.
Keelan, do you have an Xbox One?
No.
Call of Duty. You need to get
Dude,
on
my
top
Call
of
of
that.
Duty. I've been trying to play
you
with
have
you
to
guys.
I know the
re-download it.
downloads have been ridiculous
Yeah.
lately.
I've been trying to play with you guys
Piss the
lately,
guy
but
off.
my Xbox Live is so slow. I can't even play.
Sakes.
No.
I got pissed off, I would say. I just turned it off.
I did. I
Joke.
did that 3 times today.
Holy
I
shit.
turned everything off, Wi-Fi on all the computers,
To speed up the internet?
and it's still.
So slow.
That is so gay. Oh, I can't say that.
Oh, you're gonna be banned for life.
Oh, no.
What's this? Supercross 2 or 3?
3. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
three's fun.
we could try and get I got it.
That's what
too.
me and
Do you
Chris
have
were
it
playing
now?
the other
It's
day.
fun online, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have
I'm
to
down.
download
Yeah,
it.
let's try
Race
it.
each other?
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's
Let's
really
rip it
good.
up. Okay.
All right. Thanks, you folks. You fun.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Until
Peace.
next time.
Peace.
Bye.